Nomar Mazara is one of the brightest young stars in baseball. Last night, the 22-year-old led the way with a first home run from a potent Rangers offense. With back-to-back 20 home run seasons, the Big Chill certainly knows when he's hit one.
You know, when you hit it that hard, sometimes you just got to see it because you couldn't even feel it. It's amazing running the bases with the fans are screaming at you, you know, having fun and all that. And, you know, that's one of the best parts of the game.
And with that, we're ready to go on a Saturday afternoon. The Astros and Rangers. It's Game 3 today from Globe Life Park in Arlington. And a windy one today. Maybe it could even help a fly ball off the bat of Nomar Mazara. Welcome in, folks. Great to be with you once again today. I am Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nitkowski. The Rangers very happy with the news from last night. A 5-1 win. They've evened this series. The one thing, though, not happy with the news they got today about Delino DeShields.
This is unfortunate. Delino DeShields was a guy that we were looking forward to watching this entire season, and now we find out he's got to go to the 10-day DL with a fractured hamate in his left hand. And we saw it last night where that hand bothered him on the swing right here against Joe Smith late in the game, and the reaction from Delino DeShields was that something was wrong. He did stay in the game, eventually scored a run. We even saw a head-first slide, and the hand looked fine, but looking at it today, unfortunately, not the same news. And Delino DeShields right now not in the lineup on the DL. He will be missed in center field.
I got the MRI this morning. We got the news about an hour ago. And while he goes on the 10-day DL, Nick Gardewine comes up from Round Rock. But really, you're talking more 4 to 6 weeks for Delino DeShields. What that means is other guys in the lineup are going to have to step up. Shin-Soo Choo, first couple of games, very good down toward the bottom of the order, moves up to number 5 today.
This is interesting, too, as far as how the Rangers are using Choo this year, where they put him in the batting order. He has been so good over the course of his career. We talked about it a lot, his ability to get on base and hit near the top of the order. That's what he's done for 85% of his plate appearances with the Texas Rangers. But we saw him in the 6 hole the first 2 games. This afternoon now, he'll be in that 5th spot and hitting a little bit more like a middle of the order hitter. 4 hits for him so far this season. It's going to be important to get that really good version of Choo, especially now that Delino DeShields is out.
All right, and I wonder what that means for the starting pitching. We've seen 2 good matchups in these first 2 games. Looking forward to this one today with Lance McCullers Jr. going for the Astros, and our first look at Matt Moore.
This will be a good matchup. McCullers Jr., of course, last year very good in the postseason, both as a starter, but coming out of the bullpen, it is a right-handed power arm, and certainly for Rangers fans, they are familiar with him, and in a good way. He has struggled against the Rangers over the course of his short career. 5 starts, he hasn't won any of them. The ERA up over 6, and so hopefully that trend continues here this afternoon. On the other side for the Rangers, Matt Moore, you mentioned, making his Texas Rangers debut. The left-hander comes over from the San Francisco Giants a year ago. We'll talk a lot about his repertoire and the changes that he is trying to make, but his history against the Astros has been a good one. A 3-0 record in his 3 starts, a very nice ERA. He certainly would like that trend to continue this afternoon as well.
All right, so a chance for somebody to take the lead in this series today. New leadoff man for the Rangers, Elvis Andrus, and he's off to a hot start. We have him in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back.
A gorgeous but breezy day here in Arlington as the Rangers and Astros get set to play Game 3 of a 4-game series to open this 2018 season. The Rangers taking the field as we speak, and as we mentioned at the top, Elvis Andrus will be in the leadoff spot for today and for the foreseeable future, with Delino DeShields out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And Elvis Andrus is the subject of our Shiner Box Spotlight. Of course, Elvis with that breakout campaign in 2017. We wondered how he would start off in 2018 after that career year. So far this series, 4 hits, and in his career versus McCullers, 6 for 11 with 3 doubles and 4 RBIs. Elvis says he just feels like he's in the best spot of his career. He's comfortable on and off the field. He feels good about where he's at physically, mentally, all around, and it's definitely showing on the field to start 2018. And of course, it showed last season, guys.
I think coming into this year, stunning that he would feel even better coming into this season.
Well, that's certainly what you want to hear, I think, with Elvis Andrus, and of course becoming a new father. Certainly, I think it probably has something to do with that as well. So that's certainly exciting and feeling good. And Ranger fans, listen, we'll take a repeat of last year. We're not going to ask him to be better, but he certainly sounds like he expects to be even better than he was a year ago.
Ready to go this afternoon. Let's take a look at the lineup today, presented by the Houston Astros. George Springer up top again, 2 for 8 so far in the series, but with that leadoff homer on Thursday. Bregman, Altuve, and Correa. Then it's a switch hitter, Marwin Gonzalez, Evan Gattis, J.D. Davis back in there again today. And Matt Moore has the start.
And we'll take a look at the pitch arsenal for the left-hander, Matt Moore, and what you've seen in the past, and this is last year, with 51% fastballs, 18% curveballs, 16 on the changeup, and 15 on the cutter. That will probably change over the course of this year. The elimination of the cutter is what Matt Moore's story will be all about in 2018. It was an issue for him, a lot of hard contact against that pitch. And so as that goes away, the question becomes, well, what will he throw more of? Will it be the changeup? Will it be the breaking ball? I don't think it'll necessarily be an increase in fastball use, but we will find out about all of that as the season progresses.
Well, the big lefty starts us off with one upstairs for ball 1 to George Springer. .73 degrees here at game time this afternoon. Another beautiful day, although a lot more wind than we saw on either Thursday or Friday.
It is breezy. All of those flags blowing right now. We see him kind of coming from center field to the left field foul pole. What that'll mean down on the field, though, might be a little bit different.
Oh, swing and a miss that time by Springer. It's 1-2, and it looked like he was a little baffled at what he just saw there from Moore. Moore working with pretty good tempo. He evens the count here at 2-2.
I do think for Matt Moore, as he gets away from that cutter, the use of the curveball going up will probably be a good play. You know, his fastball is not what it once was, a fastball that would touch 96, 97 miles an hour. That's not really there anymore, but that's how you set a hitter up after a couple of really good curveballs, one that Springer swung at, one that he did not, and then at 93, the fastball has a little bit more jump on the inside part of the plate. So great execution from Matt Moore. Watch how he finishes this off, and location will be so important as he drills the glove there of Juan Centeno and rings up his first strikeout as a member of the Texas Rangers.
Well, we'll certainly take more of those.
See what you did there with 2 O's?
Yeah, if that's whatever it takes. Alex Bregman now, 284 last season, 1 hit so far in the series.
Alex Bregman really did a nice job last year against lefties. .331 batting average against Juan Centeno. Certainly aware of that. This will be interesting as well. Centeno, a former Astro, having an idea how to pitch this lineup. Certainly knows these hitters very well.
Chopper left side of the infield. That'll make a long throw for Andrus, but it's right on the money. 2 away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by DeMontron RV, and a little bit of a different look than what we saw in games 1 and 2. Drew Robinson getting his first start of the year. Carlos Tocci getting his first start of his career. Congratulations to him. He is in center. Nomar Mazara Then, of course, we have Beltre, Andrus, Odor, Joey Gallo. Of course, Centeno, as I mentioned, behind home plate throwing to Matt Moore. Matt Moore throwing to him. But there are our center fielders so far this year. Delano DeShields now on the DL.
Hard bouncer by short for Altuve, and he is on with 2 away in the first inning.
This ball was pretty well hit by Jose Altuve. Did a nice job against lefties himself last year. 353 batting average against. And that first pitch fastball, we know he goes swinging early. And he was all over that pitch from Matt Moore. Well struck just out of the reach of Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, I feel like we sold that notion a little bit the first 2 nights, only to see Altuve maybe show a little more patience. And today he comes right out hacking. And now Carlos Correa. So just underway this afternoon. 3rd game in a 4-game series between these in-state rivals. Moore will check in with Altuve.
And this will be the challenge for Matt Moore today against this part of the lineup. Bregman, Altuve, Correa, all hitters that did very well against left-handed pitching last year. I mentioned Bregman at 331, Altuve at 353. Carlos Correa, 391 against lefties. That is a big challenge for any left-handed pitcher in the middle of this Astros lineup.
This one out to center field. It'll drop in, base hit. Altuve got a good start, and he'll motor all the way to 3rd. Correa's base hit has put the Astros on the corners.
Take a look at here at this fastball from Matt Moore. Pretty well located. Carlos Correa did enough to get it into the outfield, but didn't necessarily get it on the barrel. Aimed him a little bit. Jose Altuve, easy jump there with 2 outs. Cruises into 3rd.
Now Marwin Gonzalez. 2 outs and more, trying to put this first inning to rest.
Not surprising to see a first pitch breaking ball. We saw Cole Hamels working the breaking ball to Marwin Gonzalez. This is an issue for him a year ago against left-handed pitchers. Really struggled on breaking pitches from lefties.
Time asked for and granted. Ed Hickox, our plate umpire today, stepping fully away from the home plate area. It's 1-0. And that one catches a corner. Moore started up by striking out George Springer. Now Bregman to ground out to short, but then a base hit by Altuve. Correa with a flare to center. And the Astros threatening in the first inning. 1-1. That's a strike.
3 straight curveballs from Matt Moore, and here's the reason why. Last year for Marwin Gonzalez, you'll see this one on Fox Tracks, catching the outside corner. He hit 125 against breaking pitches from left-handed hitters a year ago. Excuse me, left-handed pitchers.
A big chance here for Moore is 1-2. And Gonzalez stays alive. We've seen Rangers starters and Rangers pitching in general rack up a good number of strikeouts in this first series. Hamels struck out 7 Thursday night. The bullpen followed with 6 more strikeouts. Yesterday, Pfister with 3, the bullpen with 3 more. Moore struck out Springer to start the game. The 1-2 to Gonzalez. Just a little low. It's 2-2.
That'll give you an idea when people talk about robot umpires and wondering if we wanted an automated strike zone.
You see how that just missed the bottom of the Fox track? Sorry, looked like it just missed crossing, but then you saw where it finished. Nearly in the dirt. As Juan Centeno caught that ball. That's, I think, would be one of those things that would really throw people off. Good breaking balls with good depth, where they finish and where they actually cross the plate. Big difference.
Gonzalez doing battle here with Moore.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's a robot. You can't fool a robot.
No, you can't. But that's where people would have a hard time. Look at that ball finish, right? Almost in the dirt. You would think, oh, yeah, 100% that was a ball. It just missed being a strike on the Fox track, so it caught almost the bottom part of the zone. I think that's where you would see a reaction that would not sit well with hitters, and certainly I think the same goes for fans.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming here to Gonzalez. Moore runs it inside on him. It's a full count. That was interesting, the way Centeno set up. Where that pitch went, is that pitch entirely about setting up this one?
No, you don't want to go 3-2 on purpose. I think you are trying to finish the at-bat. 2-2 count. You don't want to go 3-2. I think they thought maybe they had a chance at getting a swing and a miss, a chase from Marwin Gonzalez. They didn't get it.
Now the payoff. And so it'll be at least a 9-pitch at bat.
With 0 fastballs. It has been all curveballs, all changeups up to this point for Matt Moore against Marwin Gonzalez. And so you're shooting the back of your mind going, well, can I beat him right now if I put that 92, 93 right on the inside part of the corner? If I slowed his bat down enough, because I've shown him all these off-speed pitches. The temptation is real, but he also knows how much he struggles against breaking balls. We'll see what they decide to do.
Well, looks like we might see it. And there it is. Strike 3 called. What a spot for Matt Moore. And the punch out leaves him on the corners.
A perfect execution of a pitch from Matt Moore against Marwin Gonzalez. After all of those off speeds, he comes back and he paints a fastball on the inside corner for called strike 3.
Look at the Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. Joey Gallo bats second. Beltre, Mazzara, Chu moves up a spot. Odor moves up several spots. Centeno catching, batting seventh. Drew Robinson at left. And the first start in his career, Carlos Tocci in center field, batting ninth this afternoon. Definitely a different looking Rangers lineup today. And the first pitch swinging. Andrus with a chopper to third. Bregman's had a nice series down there. One away.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Lance McCullers Jr. and he's got a good arm and good velocity. That fastball, 40% usage for him in a pitch that sits around 95 miles an hour, but it is the curveball. And we talked about it a lot last year. 49% usage. We saw him throw 24 of them in a row in the postseason. Pretty incredible feat, but he was effective with it. Of course, a changeup in there as well that sits right around 89 miles an hour.
Well, Joey Gallo with nobody on base in front of him. And he takes strike one. And the numbers last year, the 209 average, the great power. Now he's 2 for 8 in this series. Drove in a run yesterday with a double that just missed getting out. And he's had a couple of fly balls that have just missed getting out today. Just 3 outfielders against him. And the infield not as dramatically shifted as we have seen.
Part of these shifts too will go based on the pitcher, type of pitches he has a tendency to throw, maybe previous at bats against the hitter.
Bouncer, the second base position, but it is Correa, the shortstop, who was there. And there are 2 away.
Take a quick replay here from Joey Gallo. The breaking ball. He's able to put it in play with 2 strikes. We know Joey Gallo not necessarily thinking about cutting it down, but at the same time, Lance McCullers Jr. knows how to get strikeouts with that breaking ball. You know that pitch was out of the zone. Joey did a good job at least getting a bat on that pitch.
So now the base is empty for Adrian Beltre. Beltre 3 for 10 in his career against McCullers. And he's ahead here 2-0. Rangers won yesterday 5-1 to even the series after losing the opener 4-1 here. An unusual 4-game series to start the season. Maybe even more unusual the fact that they will leave here after tomorrow's game, going to Oakland to play in another 4-game series with the A's. The 2-1. Beltre holds off, and that a strike evens the count.
You saw a little bit of run on that fastball from Lance McCullers Jr., something he's working on. A 2-seam fastball, a little bit more, trying to get more horizontal movement, which means it stays on the same plane, goes side to side. I think we just saw one right there.
Ground ball shortstop, and from a knee, Correa right there, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Only 9 pitches needed for McCullers. Second inning on the way. April 7th, bring your dog for Bark at the Park. Rangers and Blue Jays, 7:05 game. Dress your dog in Rangers gear and join the pregame parade around the warning track. Advanced registration is required. Go to TexasRangers.com/Bark at the Park.
But anything better than a dog parade?
Love the dog parades.
That's a good time. Although, I think we discussed this. I can't remember if it was on air or off air about whether or not either one of us could bring our dog to Bark at the Park. And my dog for sure would not be allowed here. He's a great dog. He's a nice dog. He loves other dogs. He's a peacemaker. He's not going to start trouble, with the exception of he would try to mark everything in the stadium as his. And the way that dogs do that, not so pleasant. And that's why he would not be invited to Bark at the Park. That's the only reason. Other than that, he would be thrilled to be around all those other dogs. But you can't have him marking up his territory at Globe Life Park.
No, I don't think so. Gaddis takes one away, 2-1. My beagle would just be way too loud, and my dog isn't as good socially. I don't think.
Oh, really?
No, a little more aggressive.
Interesting. We have a puggle, by the way, half pug, half beagle.
Gaddis spoils that one foul. 2-2 the count. Evan Gaddis, J.D. Davis, Brian McCann.
But if you could talk, he would be super upset and like trying to beg to somehow get to Bark at the Park. Like if he knew there were going to be, I don't know, what, 5,000 dogs here?
Right.
However many are here, he would be begging and pleading like a child to come to Bark at the Park.
Moore's 2-2, a little tall. Best dog promotion at the ballpark that I've ever seen was in the minor leagues. And they had an ugly dog contest on one of those dog days of August. And I was watching this dog eating the grass in foul territory while they're doing the count. I'm like, you know what happens when it, sure enough, 3-2. That one lifted out to center. Long run for Tochi, and he won't get to it. Bangs off the 407. And that is a leadoff double for Evan Gaddis. That ball really hit hard, and with Tochi out there in center field, he's a guy, at least we learned during spring training, he can cover a lot of ground, and you figure everything's in play. I mean, you do not give up on it, but he couldn't quite get to that one. And so Gaddis, it's a 5th double of the series for the Astros, and he's in scoring position to start the 2nd inning. So now here is J.D. Davis, and he will swing and foul this one straight back out of play for strike 1. Gaddis at second, nobody out. Here in the top of the 2nd inning, having some difficulties right now, technical difficulties with the video. Boys are scrambling. We'll have it back up here momentarily.
So we're going to put on the radio version of Rangers Astros right now.
There you go. Moore, the breaking ball down in the dirt. Good block back there by Centeno, sliding to his left.
For people wondering about Carlos Tochi, as we had an opportunity to see him chase that ball down, the Rangers are thrilled with his defense. He's a guy who plays an excellent center field. That one he had absolutely no chance of getting to, but we'll see if he gets an opportunity today to show off some of that range.
Gaddis takes his lead off second. A swing and a miss by Davis. It's 1-2. Well, there we go. Our producer Mike Dressman got a hold of those rabbit ears, got everything in control, and pictures back on the tube. Moore showing that off-speed stuff quite a bit here early on.
Centeno's done a nice job on balls in the dirt. Another guy who was in there and kind of known a little bit more for his defense. He did an excellent job in spring training. Good job blocking, good job throwing, and gives a guy like Matt Moore the confidence to bury that breaking ball, knowing you got a good defensive catcher back there. Robinson Trino certainly does an excellent job back there as well. A regular starting catcher for the Rangers.
Two and a swing and a miss. Strike 3. 3rd strikeout already for Moore.
I'm liking what I'm seeing here so far from Matt Moore, which is the good use of the breaking ball below the zone. He likes it. It looks good today, and it certainly helped create a little bit more perceived velocity on the fastball. And you see J.D. Davis going out of the strike zone on a well-located breaking ball from Matt Moore. And so far, the pitch usage in the playing here against the Houston Astros has been a pretty good one for Matt Moore.
One out. Now the 8th place hitter, Brian McCann, and that one way off the plate. Good job by Centeno to get out to that one.
That's why you can never get too comfortable. Can't get on your heels when you're back there as a catcher and just assuming that that pitch is going to be closer in the general area of where you have your glove. You got to be on your toes. That ball just took off on Matt Moore.
We'll check Gaddis, but not much of a lead there. And another block by Centeno keeps Gaddis there. And then there is real no threat of Gaddis to be moving anytime soon.
Goes Juan Centeno once again, understanding, getting down, leaning over. Let's talk about that, keeping your chest out to smother that baseball so that it bounces in front of you or close to in front of you.
Oh, that one does get away. Centeno, though, has a quick arm to throw to third.
Oh,
Gaddis able to get over there. You know, those are plays, we saw some in spring training, that almost play into Centeno's hand because he is quick behind the plate. And with a guy like Gaddis, that's a play he very nearly was able to pull off.
this might have been a cross-up. Let's take a look at this. First, we'll see the throw from Juan Centeno and see if we get any tag here from Adrian Beltre. Oh, just missed. A good call at third base. And Ron Kolpa just missed tagging Evan Gaddis, and I think he kept his hand on the bag the entire time. And right now, the home plate umpire at Hickox is just giving Juan Centeno a little bit of time. I don't know if he hurt his knee a little bit as he was making that throw. But I thought this might have been a cross-up because this curveball was not in the dirt. And the reaction from Juan Centeno told us that maybe he was expecting something else. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was a cross-up. He would have went down to keep that ball in front of him. But let's watch this, too. I don't know if he hurt himself at all.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
A wild pitch. And there's a strike to McCann to make it 3-1. But the wild pitch has Gaddis at third base. Infield about halfway up. And that one smashed foul. It's a full count.
When you're a backup catcher, the way Juan Centeno is for Robinson Chirinos, and a little something happens. We talk about this a lot. You do everything you can to stay in the game. Those starts are few and far between. You want them when you get them, and the idea of having to come out in the second inning because of an injury would not be something that would be welcomed by a backup catcher.
Full count. It's the third 3-ball count, and now time called just as Moore was about to deliver. Now the 3-2. And this one lifted high in the air out to right field. It's not a simple play. Into a slide, and that one drops in. Well, you wondered if Odor would call off Mazara there. He was headed out there in a hurry. And Mazara just couldn't get in quickly enough. Well, that's a tough break right there for Moore.
That certainly is. He made a good pitch, and I think really caught Brian McCann off guard because he threw him a changeup, and the lefty-lefty changeup is not a pitch that you see too often. And so we got Brian McCann out front. He didn't hit this ball very hard, but watch these two guys going for the ball. Long run for both of them. Kind of falls right in between. Omar calling off Rougned Odor last second. You see it just hit off the tip of his glove, and the wind probably knocked that ball down, which made it even more difficult to read.
So the Astros get the first run of the game, and now a breaking ball to Marisnik in there for a strike. Ooh, off the top of Centeno's glove. And that removes the possibility of a potential double play. So this has been an adventurous second inning for Moore and Centeno. Another wild pitch.
So much so that Juan Centeno is going to go out and talk to Matt Moore. This was a fastball. It looked like it was overthrown a little bit. Juan Centeno tried to do everything he could to get there, as he was expecting that ball down a little bit lower. You see it there right in the webbing of the glove, and hops out. Just wants to calm his starter down a little bit. You see that new graphic there, mound visits remaining. It's part of the new rule, 6 that you get over your 9 innings. That is a coach visiting or a position player visiting the pitcher, or even if the pitcher were to walk over and talk to his catcher. As long as there's no pitching change made, it will count as a mound visit.
Now McCann out there at second base. 1-1 to Marisnik. Low.
Been 19 curveballs thrown so far for Matt Moore. Just 7 of those for strikes, and that's a percentage that will have to increase for him if he wants to get deeper in this game.
Marisnik couldn't get that fastball. 2-2 the count. Marisnik had the home run off Cole Hamels on opening day Thursday. Yesterday had the start in center field. Back there again. Or rather, that was on Thursday when he was in center field. Back there again today. Hits this ball well. Very high in the air. Will the wind help or hurt? It helps. Marisnik just gets it over the wall. A 2-run homer. Houston with the 3-0 lead.
This one looked like it hung up in the zone a little bit more from Matt Moore. After he got the swing and miss on the 93-mile-an-hour curveball, fastball, he came back with the curveball. But watch the location as this one stayed up over the plate, giving Marisnik a chance to extend his arms. And that is one that Matt Moore certainly wanted at the bottom of the zone. Didn't quite get it down there. And Jake Marisnik made him pay the price.
Couple of tough breaks this inning. Astros have capitalized. Now the bases are empty, and the 1-0 to Springer's in the dirt. And it's been a laborious second inning as well for Moore. It's already looking at offering his 45th pitch of the day, his 25th of the inning. It's just 1 out to his credit here in the second. Upstairs, it's 3-0. Springer struck out looking in the first. He's 0 for 1. I think he thought he had ball 4 right there. Seen a couple of those on the inside corner that have been called today by Ed Hickox. So that portion of the plate might be opportunity laden for Matt Moore. Springer hits one high in the air to center. This time Tochi won't have to move too far. Right there to haul in out number 2.
Good job bouncing back from a 3-0 count for Matt Moore to get the second out of the inning. And Carlos Tochi, his first put out of his major league career. Just chewing that gum a little bit fast. Maybe some nerves.
He's working it over pretty good. That's why they have those huge buckets of gum down there. That thing's going to be useless by the time he gets back into the dugout. One 0 to Bregman. And hits this one high in the air out to left field. But some room out there. Robinson puts it away. A 3-run second inning after 1.5. The Astros with the early lead.
It's
I know.
Cool.
I saw it. How about this? Not only the first home run of the season for the Rangers, but how about for Nomar Mazara, a guy who has not hit very many home runs against left-handed pitching. And then, of course, Dallas Keuchel, a guy who's done such a great job against left-handed hitters, and he keeps the ball on the ground. I mean, all of it said that should have never happened, but Nomar had other plans.
Now faces the right-hander McCullers and takes a strike.
That was what, just his third career home run against a lefty?
A lefty, yep. And a left-hander who just does not give up home runs to left-handed hitters. So, you know, that's one of those great ones, right? With the reverse lock.
Well, you can take those analytics and
yeah,
go ahead and throw them in the trash.
Ooh, strike 3 called. McCullers just carves up Mazara on 3 pitches. 1 away.
Let's take a look at this pitch from Lance McCullers Jr. Like, I guess that was a changeup. Or that the breaking ball, it just didn't do very much. See it staying up in the zone, not exactly where he was trying to throw that pitch. Talk about that a lot sometimes. The backup breaking ball, how effective it can be. Let's take a look at our Kubota power stats for this afternoon, and this will involve Lance McCullers Jr. Strikeouts per 9 since 2015 in the American League. McCullers 5th with a 10.2 per 9 rate. As we see strikeouts continue to climb in our game. Those are impressive numbers, especially when you look at the guys that are there with him. Some tremendous strikeout pitchers. Chris Sale, Chris Archer, Danny Salazar. So certainly some exclusive company for McCullers. Now the issue for him has been health and trying to go a full season. Still hasn't done it yet, where you're looking for those 30 starts, knocking on the door 200 innings. He hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, I mean, 200 innings. He's a far cry. Most innings he's ever thrown in one season, 125. That was his rookie campaign in 2015. 81 the next year, 118 last year.
118. Is that in 27 starts? Is that right? Did he have last year?
That was in 22 starts.
22 starts last year. Okay. I guess 150 maybe is the next marker to try to get to.
3-2 to Chu, and there's ball 4. So Rangers have their first base runner of the afternoon.
Batting 6, the second baseman, number 12,
And McCullers says that ball stinks. Man, a new one. Here comes Odor.
It's a fun matchup here. Two pretty strong personalities, one on the mound, one in the box. A couple of very aggressive players, confident in their ability. Power games for both of them. And these are fun to watch right here.
Committed to the particular thing that they do. And Odor takes strike 1. Ruben 1 hit so far in this series. Does have a walk, a sac fly, is driven in a run. True with a small lead. It's 1-1.
Take a look at the StatCast infield shift right now for the Houston Astros, and you'll see a lot of this over the course of the year. And this is against, of course, Ruben Odor. Jose Altuve has to come in a little bit further because of the runner at first base. Otherwise, he would be on the outfield grass. I mentioned this on opening night. 1,754 shifts for the Astros a year ago. That was second most in Major League Baseball.
What is it, you know, what constitutes a shift per se?
I think any time that you take a position player in any one position and completely put him what we would consider out of position. So even if it's only moving one significantly, I mean, certainly this is where you have 3 infielders on the right side. I think when you shade, we call a little bit, I don't think that would count as a shift, right? You have a left-handed hitter up, and everyone stays in their spot except maybe the shortstop goes a couple of steps to his left. Second baseman goes a couple of steps to his left. I wouldn't think they would consider that necessarily a shift. But I would see something like this extreme. Certainly is.
The 1-2. Check swing. That one in the dirt. Nope, he went around. That is strike 3. So Odor strikes out. Second punch out today for McCullers.
Let's take a look at the replay and see if Rougned Odor held up. Chasing that pitch down. No, that's certainly a good call. Looks like he went around right there.
Now Juan Centeno. Today his Rangers debut. Last year he was with the Astros.
Well, there's that run on that two-seam fastball. That is amazing at 95 miles an hour. A little bit different of a look for Lance McCullers Jr. Adjusted the grip on the two-seam fastball, and having that kind of velocity as it started to go with the curveball is certainly good, but when you can move it like that, it makes it all much more difficult for hitters. So what it does essentially is it gets you throwing pitches that go in different ways, right? Instead of the straight fastball, which was pretty good, but now that one runs away from the lefties. Obviously the breaking ball goes the other way, and then the changeup, so he gives him a real opportunity to throttle some hitters and use his fastball more with confidence. We showed it earlier how little he used his fastball compared to his breaking ball.
Well, it catches a corner. 2-1 to Centeno. Yeah, very different mix we're seeing from McCullers today. Centeno, a waiver claim by the Rangers. Astros put him on waivers end of November. Rangers plucked him. And here he is on the opening day roster, making his Rangers debut today. He did play in 22 games last year with Houston, 3 different stints with a big club. But he was also on the postseason roster for all 3 rounds, appeared in game 3 of the division series, but just to catch the 9th inning. That was his only participation in the postseason last year. It's this one the other way, down the left field line and slicing up into the seats. It's a full count. We mentioned about Centeno, definitely a defensive-minded catcher. Lifetime .231 average in the big leagues. A couple of homers, 4 RBIs. The homers, the 2 homers, came in the first 2 games he played in the big leagues, both against the Detroit Tigers.
This is always interesting, right? Whenever you have a pitcher that's throwing to a former catcher. Now Juan Centeno, Lance McCullers Jr. only threw 5 innings together last year, but he certainly caught lots of bullpen, spring training, knows a lot about the repertoire. Always makes you think a little bit extra as a pitcher. Wondering, does he know my secrets? Does he know what I'm going to throw here, what my tendencies are? Because he's seen it firsthand. Not only seen it firsthand, even though he's hardly caught him, he's studying him all year, right? While Brian McCann is working with the pitchers, certainly Juan Centeno was watching Lance McCullers Jr. and every other pitcher on this Houston Astros roster.
Gosh, I mean, you get to know them so well, the personality,
yeah,
their tendencies. I would think definitely a bit of an advantage in these spots. 3-2 pitch, and that one lined up the middle, but Carlos Correa is right there. Well, they saved that time, takes one away from Centeno. We've played 2. Astros lead 3-0.
As we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington, and while some disappointing news came down via the injury front today regarding Delino DeShields, some positive news coming regarding the pitching staff. Martin Perez threw in an inter-squad game yesterday in Round Rock. He threw 87 pitches and struck out 10. Appears to be on his way back. Tony Barnett, meantime, threw in a simulated game, 20 pitches, striking out all 4 of the batters that he faced. There's still a couple of boxes that need to be checked from spring training. I believe throwing back-to-back is one of those, so he will not travel to Oakland with the team, but should be on his way back very soon as well, guys.
Yeah, that was good news today. And I'm glad you bring it up, Emily, because the Delino DeShields stuff sort of dominated the conversation this morning around the ballpark. But that is additional good news for this pitching staff. And Delino on the disabled list today. If you missed that at the open of the broadcast, placed on the 10-day DL this morning with a fractured hamate bone in his left hand, and that means usually 4 to 6 weeks before you will see him again in game action.
But definitely good news on the pitchers. Tony Barnett strengthening that Ranger bullpen as soon as he passes those couple of tests. And Martin Perez, I thought he looked really good in spring training. We thought there was a possibility that he was not going to be ready to start the season. But really, when he first injured his right elbow this offseason, the conversation was he might be out for the first month of the season. And he was determined to not allow that to happen. And he did a really good job of getting himself ready. And I think the Rangers might have been borderline on even starting him this year.
Roll out to short by Altuve. One away here in the 3rd.
Well, there it is as far as what Martin Perez and Tony Barnett did last night at Round Rock. That was an inter-squad situation. Their season has not started just yet, and so good to see them get that work in. But you look at Martin at 6 innings pitched, 87 pitches. Thinking about, of course, also what he did in spring, getting deep, that pitch count up, but wanted to get at least one more. It does appear that Martin Perez will be ready to go here pretty soon.
Carlos Correa now for Houston. He is 1 for 1 today, singled to center in the 1st inning. It's kind of a flare over the middle of the diamond.
That pitch right there is really going to be key for Matt Moore, and he's had good command. You brought it up earlier, noticing that fastball inside, even though the velocity not what it used to be. His ability to put that pitch on the inside part of the plate and just off the plate, right? If you think about, if you could have pinpoint command to one side of the plate or the other, where you could put it on the black, you could put it 3 inches on, maybe 3 inches off. The inside part of the plate is where I'd want to have that command, and so far Matt Moore has shown a lot of that here this afternoon.
This time Correa gets it and lines it out into left field. And he'll have a double.
Take a look at this pitch. Looked like a changeup from Matt Moore that he wanted down below the zone. It looked like it might have came back over the plate a little bit. Carlos Correa does a nice job getting out front, hitting it down the left field line. In that spot, obviously in that count, 1-2. That's not a pitch that Matt Moore probably wanted in the zone. He's not in that location.
Another man in scoring position for the Astros now. This time for Marwin Gonzalez, who struck out looking to in the 1st inning. That was with men on the corners. That was a really good at bat. What a 9-pitch at bat, and eventually Moore getting the win in that one.
Great pitch. Put yourself in Marwin Gonzalez's mind, right? You mentioned that long at bat. You see the frustration on his part. He didn't like that call. He didn't like the call to end his at bat back in the 1st inning. But 8 of the 9 pitches he saw were off-speed pitches. Most of them curveballs, a couple of changeups. When you're coming up in that situation, RBI spot, knowing that that is Matt Moore's game plan, do you sit breaking ball, look for it, and then he throws 92 right on the inside corner? And comes back with the breaking ball. It's that cat and mouse game, the back and forth, knowing Marwin Gonzalez not great against the left-handed breaking pitches. And when you try to sneak that fastball in, you really got to make sure the location is solid against Marwin Gonzalez.
I'm with you. If I'm Marwin right now, I have no idea. I'm in my own head. Forget about what's going on with that guy out on the mound.
So the options here, the breaking ball, just make sure it's out of the zone. We've seen him chase it. That's probably the smarter way to go. Or you can elevate that fastball, or you can throw it in off the plate. There's a breaking ball below the zone. And listen, it's still only 1-2. And you still know that that is his weakness. You can throw that pitch again, maybe try to bring it up a little bit. But what I love about this is that you know in the back of Gonzalez's mind is that he's got to be aware of that fastball inside. And I do think if Matt Moore can locate it there, he still would be able to get Marwin Gonzalez out, especially up and in. A fastball that's a lot harder to get to.
Well, that one hit well out to left field. Robinson is back, and that one is off the chain link fence. Correa able to touch home plate. Gonzalez with the RBI double. It's 4-0 Houston.
We'll take a peek. It was a fastball, and it looked like it was in, and it looked like they tried to elevate it. Marwin Gonzalez was able to get to it. Let's see if he got this far enough in. That's a pretty good pitch. Wow, I got to give credit there to Marwin Gonzalez. I like the call and the idea of trying to go in. And Marwin Gonzalez proved to us that he could get to that. See Carlos Correa easily scoring from second base.
Well, 3 runs in the second, another run here in the third for Houston. Pitch count piling up for Matt Moore. Drops a breaking ball in there for a strike on Evan Gattis. That's 7 doubles now in the series for Houston. And they've cashed in today when they've had the opportunity. 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and another such spot right here. Time called again.
Wow, that was late.
We've seen this a lot already today by Ed Hickox. That's a 3rd time I think he's had to wave his arms and race out from behind home plate.
Well, part of that too is if your pitcher is looking at the base runner and maybe not seeing the umpire and starts his delivery without looking at home. That one sure did appear to be a late call.
1-strike pitch. Inside on Gattis. I'm talking about the runners in scoring position. Even with the surge today for the Astros, 3 for 5. You see in the series, they haven't been real good overall. Rangers have really struggled as well. Just 2 for 13. And one of those hits for the Rangers was a base hit that did not score the run. Bouncer third base, and that is just foul. I think Beltre was at second base. This must have been on Thursday afternoon. And there was a base hit to center field. He was only able to make it to third. So the big hits have been hard to come by in this series, although Houston has cashed in a couple early here this afternoon. One-two to Gattis. Looked very good. That just missed. And that's the pitch that Moore has been getting called so often today.
Once Santana looked a little bit surprised that that pitch is not called a strike. Had a little bit of natural cut to it from Matt Moore, and of course, jumping up and thinking about making that throw to second. Maybe Fred Hickox not getting as long of a look at it as he would have liked.
2-2. That's another full count, and another long inning for Matt Moore with 1 out here. That was the 20th pitch of the inning. In fact, I don't believe he has thrown fewer than 20 pitches in any inning yet. Payoff. Fouled away.
Let's take a look here, and you're right. 20 in the first, 20 now here in the third. Those 29 pitches in the second. So Matt Moore has had to work hard here against the Astros. Not surprising. They put together good at-bats. They've been good against left-handed pitching. He knew he was going to have to grind today against this lineup.
3-2 pitch. Another foul ball.
That's the part that gets you too, right? Because you're working hard. You know you have good hitters. Get to that 3-2 count. You feel like you make a good pitch, and then he fouls it off. That's the part that starts to wear you down mentally against hitters that know how to get deep in counts.
Yep, and he's had a couple of those in today's game. That's largely what the Astros set out to do last year, where they really remade their offense. They wanted to put together an offense that could do just that kind of thing to a starting pitcher. And there's strike 3 call. Well, that's a 4th strikeout for Matt Moore, and a good one of Gaddis. They're 2 away.
It's a really nice job. Just mentioned the grind of these at-bats. Evan Gaddis fouling off a couple of tough pitches. Then it's the breaking ball from Matt Moore. He threw one earlier in the count that kind of hung up and away, but he's able to finish this one with some good break and right down the middle of the plate for called strike 3.
So now 2 outs. 3 of the 4 strikeouts have been looking today. The only one swinging was this guy, J.D. Davis, and this time he bounces to short, and Andrus will take care of him. The inning is done. Another run for the Astros. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 4-0. Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Well, a bit of a hole here early on for the Rangers, but a lot of baseball left to go this afternoon. We're in the 3rd inning. Drew Robinson, Carlos Tocci, and then the top of the order, Elvis Andrus against Lance McCullers Jr. The right-hander's first pitch right in there for a strike. Now Robinson today getting the start in left field, and we may see a little more of that going forward with the news today regarding Delano DeShields. Because while Tocci has the start and waits on deck, Jeff Bannister indicated this morning that he thinks maybe Ryan Rua will handle more of the duties in center field, at least at the moment, which would get Drew Robinson more time in left field. Fractured hamate bone in the left hand for Delano DeShields.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision. I thought maybe Drew Robinson would get a shot at center field. As Jeff Bannister explained today, he does like the idea of Ryan Rua out there, and Rangers will do what they have to do. It's a tough duel without having Delino DeShields. There's no two ways about it. You can't make up for it. Do the best you can. Really disappointing and discouraging, knowing what he did last year, knowing he was going to be the guy this year. There's Ryan Rua. There's Nomar Mazara. Delino, George Profar.
Little tight, full count now on Robinson. Robinson, a left-handed hitter. He is the last in a string of 5 consecutive lefties that Jeff Bannister put in his lineup today. Joey Gallo, another lefty, in there as well. There's a swing and a miss, and that is the 3rd strikeout today for McCullers.
We'll take a look at it one more time. This is from last night. Delino DeShields, a swing against that fastball from Joe Smith. He foul-tipped it, and he immediately reacted as if something was wrong. You'll see it from the side, and there was no contact. I mean, there was with the ball, but nothing where he hit his hand on anything or the ball hit him. He just felt it. And Kevin Harmon checked it out last night, head trainer with the Texas Rangers, and stayed in the game. Still bothering him today, and they came to the conclusion that he fractured that hammy bone.
Yeah, quite a bit of swelling apparently last night. And then the MRI this morning. So now Carlos Tocci.
This is the story that lasts a lifetime. Right here, first big league at bat. Never forget it, always talk about it. Prefer, of course, that it ends in a positive way.
1-1. Tocci, a Rule 5 selection for the Rangers, which means he has to be on the 25-man roster all year. 1-2 pitch.
So you remember you and I were talking about the Rule 5 draft, and we were saying, you know, it's $50,000. They should probably bump that up. They did bump it up. I forgot about that. It's actually $100,000 to claim a player from somebody else's organization who's not protected on the 40-man roster.
Well, can we take credit for that?
We should. They were discredited for not knowing that the first time we were talking about it.
Yeah.
The worst part is I have it written right here in my little rule book that I keep, like notes that I think of things that come up. I just ignored them.
Yeah. I'll just be frank about it. A lot of that procedural stuff does tend to sneak by me. It happens. The 1-2. Tocci stays alive again.
Just done a nice job battling that breaking ball from Lance McCullers Jr. We know, of course, it's a good one. He's fouled off a couple now in a row, and you see it there. Just barely getting a piece of it. The batting average against a breaking ball last year for McCullers, 191. Did allow 5 home runs on the pitch, but it is a very good breaking ball so far. Tocci's done a nice job.
And he takes strike 3 call. Back-to-back strikeouts for McCullers. 2 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Top of the order now. So Rangers will get a second look at McCullers. First time through, not real good. 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts and a walk.
Elvis Andrus, see it his last 12 games against the Houston Astros. Look at that, 467 batting average. OPS up over 1,100. There has been some success there, and a guy who's familiar with hitting in the leadoff spot. He's done it over the course of his career. 823 plate appearances. He's a 270 hitter with a 340 on base percentage at a leadoff spot.
1-2.
I really battled myself not trying to turn that into a promo for the radio show that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which has a similar name to what we were just talking about.
I mean,
the leadoff spot, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
There you go. 1-2. That's fouled away. You know, as I watched you struggle with that self-control. It was like seeing something happen in slow motion. It's like, well, he's going to say it.
But I say it so many times is the problem during the week in the mornings. 6-9.
Chopper foul. Well, once again today, I've had this problem a little bit this week where the last voice I hear as I leave is yours. And then the first thing I hear when I get in my car in the morning is yours.
You can't be afraid to work a little bit.
1-2. Skips up there. Now, when we were in surprise, you know, I just chalked that up to, well, we're rooming together.
That's right.
But I sort of thought when I came home, maybe I'd just get a little more space.
See the family, say, all right, finally, a CJ break. Or so you thought.
Ooh, near miss on the outside corner. McCullers just off the plate. Real good take by Elvis Andrus.
Could it be? Could it be just one walk in the last 65 plate appearances against right-handed pitchers for Elvis Andrus?
On this pitch. No, he swings and blasts this one to center field. Carrying well and gone! Andrus gets the Rangers on the board with his first home run of the season. It's 4-1.
Walking is completely overrated, and when you get an opportunity in a 3-2 count and catch a pitch that is up in the zone, that is what we have seen Elvis Andrus do, especially now going back to the beginning of last season, now into 2018 as well, showing the power. Watch his breaking ball sit up in the zone. Lance McCullers trying to throw that thing down and away. He didn't get it there. Look how quick Elvis gets to that ball. Hitting the barrel to it right away and drilling it out to left center field.
Now Joey Gallo, and he takes one in the upper portion of the zone for a strike. Andrus 411 feet with that home run. Left the bat a little better than 100 miles per hour. 101. Little dribbler, foul. 0-2 on Joey Gallo. Joey grounded out in the first inning, 0 for 1 today.
You know, it is kind of interesting with Lance McCullers that the breaking pitch classifies as a curveball, and a lot of these things are done automatically now. But the velocity on that pitch today has been 85 to 90 miles an hour. That is not a curveball at 90 miles an hour. And the break has been smaller and tighter, I think, than we've seen in previous years. It's still a very good pitch. But that velocity is pretty high to consider that a curveball. It looks a lot more like a slider today.
One ball, 2 strikes on Gallo. Well, more and more that seems to be an ongoing debate with guys. Well, what is that pitch? What do we want to call it? Slider? Cutter? Swing and a miss, and another strikeout for McCullers, his 5th of the day. But the Rangers are on the board. They break through against McCullers. Elvis Andrus, new to the leadoff spot this afternoon, and he doesn't disappoint.
Andrus in the bottom of the third. It is now 4-1 Astros on top. It is time for our progressive fan of the game, and it is Jane Weaver is waiting in line for the Dilly Dog count, and it's about 150 deep. I figure Jane needs something to keep her occupied, so she is a fan of the game. Jane, high five.
Did she say the line was 150 deep? Oh,
yes,
my goodness.
I'm not even kidding.
So
it's
go ahead.
150 deep.
Well, you got the kind of time to get on that line. Bring one over here to Dave and I. We'll be all right with that. Commitment to
No
the
desire
team.
to bring you guys food.
No,
None.
no, don't worry about it.
Wow.
Especially the Dilly Dog. Fouled back.
It's very nice if Emily has fan bag. We'll travel. We'll meet you where you are. Right?
Have you tried the Dilly Dog yet?
I have not.
Strike 3 called on McCann. 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Center fielder
By the way, another strikeout looking, and that has been the trend here today for Moore. So that's 4 of the 5.
Well, I think what it tells you, it's good location, guys, not picking up on some pitches out of his hand. And that's the part when you watch this outing for Matt Moore. And there, of course, have been some struggles, 4 runs through 3 1/3. But the good pitches have been very good. There's the first pitch changeup right on the corner, right where he wants it. When he's wanted to locate that fastball in, he's done a good job. Now, Marwin Gonzalez got to one that looked like a pretty good pitch. But for the most part, the curveball, changeup a few times in the fastball, when located well, has been very effective. Very effective way to go after this Astros lineup. But there are too many good things on the list that I want to get to before the Dilly Dog.
Right.
A lot of new great food here at the ballpark. I saw Eric Nadel tweeting out a picture of the vegan nachos.
And that,
pretty good.
That jumps out at you as
Just looked good.
okay.
It was, you know, it was very photogenic. Did a nice job with his photography. Sold me on it.
2-strike pitch to Marisnik. And he'll hit this one out to center field. Tochi able to get back there. 2 gone. So we're now at 80 pitches for Moore. And we check out the bullpen. Our bullpen live look brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Nick Gardewine just called up from AAA this morning. Part of the roster move when Delano DeShields placed on the disabled list. So adds a little depth to that bullpen. And he may get in some action today. But Moore gets a swinging miss by Springer for strike 1. 0 for 2 today. But you cannot go to sleep on Springer. One way in on him.
It's an effective pitch for Matt Moore, one he's going to have this year. Maybe a little bit closer than he wanted. He's certainly not trying to hit George Springer in that spot. We saw him take the big swing at the pitch before that, even though it was away. You want to make sure he doesn't get too comfortable. So you move his feet, let him know you're not afraid to go inside. And hopefully what that does is open up the outside part of the plate, free you a little bit more.
I'll give him credit. He's come in a lot today.
Yep.
And at times with either A, real good effect like that one, getting Springer to move his feet, or B, getting that corner. 2 out here, nobody on. Hoping for his first 1-2-3 this afternoon. The pitch on the way. Did he go? They'd love an appeal. No.
Good pitch, good breaking ball. The other thing for Matt Moore, it's been 7 hits, 4 runs. We know that. We'll take a look at this replay here on this breaking ball. It was a good one. It was down. Good break on it. Wow, it's really close. No walks so far today. That certainly is encouraging to go along with those 5 strikeouts.
There's a swing and a miss. Make it 6 strikeouts. And a 1-2-3 4th inning from Matt Moore. Last of the 4th coming. Rangers down by 3. today. It was Adrian Beltre bobblehead day today. And they were lined up outside early. And then the happy fans who got in time to get one. Awesome. A lot of fun. And of course now the hope is that Beltre can also, come through with one of those big moments that so many guys do on their bobblehead days. Leads things off here in the 4th inning. 4-1 game. And he'll take a strike. Is there ever a C.J. Nitkowski bobblehead?
What a question. Of course not.
Why not?
No chance.
Only 2 on Beltre.
They only make those for good players. Dave, you know that.
Maybe they had trouble finding one with a large enough cranium to really be an accurate replica.
It's a lot of plastic material or whatever they're made of.
0-2. Very close. Beltre's taking some close ones today. A ball and 2 strikes.
This one certainly was very close, and you see it at 89 miles an hour. That registers as a curveball. That really is much more like a slider, even a cutter to some degree.
Two. It's always something new with him. Not real sure what Beltre was doing there, but I like it.
As if he was almost jumping back on a pitch that was away in the dirt.
Look at Adrian continuing to climb the hit list all time, and he swings and misses at strike 3. The Rangers and Blue Jays are going to get together soon. Saturday, April 7th, a 7:05 game. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark get an Elvis Andrus bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshires. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS.
Now, does that one look like he's trying to do the swipe and
Yes.
point into the dugout? I like that one. Although the swipe backwards, remember all the confusion last year?
That was a whole thing. 1 out, and Omar Mazara takes ball 1. Mazara struck out looking in the 2nd.
I'd be curious for a lot of these Rangers hitters if that 2-seam fastball is catching them by surprise a little bit. We mentioned with Lance McCullers and how he's kind of changed the look of his fastball.
Ground ball through the right side. That's a base hit for Mazara. It's interesting. They did not have much of a shift on it all for Nomar. And he just blasted it right through.
Take a look at here. Here's the pitch. Like a fastball that was up 94 miles an hour. And you're right. Nomar does a good job of pulling that ball to the right side. You got to be careful with him. On the ground, he will pull a little bit more, but in the air, we've seen teams play him the opposite way. Where your center fielder is almost shaded a little bit to left field.
Kind of like they play Chu right now.
Yep.
A pull shift on the infield and the other way in the outfield.
So what's so interesting about that right there, look at Carlos Correa, you look at Jose Altuve on that second base side of the infield. If Carlos Correa sees a ground ball to his left, he's got a decision to make, and he has to decide right away whether or not he believes Jose Altuve is going to get that ball. If he's not sure, then you go for it and you get the 1 out at first base. But if he thinks that Altuve has a chance, then Carlos Correa actually has to go cover second. Alex Bregman would never get there in time, and so the idea of even trying to turn a double play almost on what would be a routine ground ball to second base right now, where there is no second baseman. That's part of this as well. We talk about the different angles of throws that you make when we use these shifts and positions that infielders and outfielders are put in that are kind of new for them, but then also new decisions that have to be made as far as which ground balls you go for and which ones you don't.
Chu couldn't hold up. 1-1. Yeah, I think sometimes when you see teams bring in an extra infielder, those late inning spots, I feel like that's a similar problem. Guys look at each other like, well, who's going to get it? It's just not real natural. 1-1. And a bouncer up the middle. That one goes off McCullers. Bregman with a bare hand. They'll get two. So they win that battle, but the war may be a different story here. McCullers really hit sharply on the leg, and he looks like he's in pain.
It looked like it got him pretty good. This ball was well hit right back up the box. And you're right. Lance McCullers Jr. in some significant pain right now. Probably robbing Chu of a hit. Well, he's back up pretty quickly, so maybe not.
Well, I took quite a carom off of him over to Bregman. Let's take a look.
Oh, he caught him on the right shin, or maybe just right above his ankle. Yep. It's really amazing how often these balls bounce close enough to another player to be able to field the ball, not too far off from Alex Bregman, who made a nice play.
Well, he made a couple of tosses and appears to be fine, so they're going to leave him in for the moment. Two out here in the fourth inning, 4-1 the score. And it brings up Rougned Odor.
Do we have
Mazara able to get to second base. First time today the Rangers have had an at bat with a runner in scoring position. Hits in these spots been very hard to come by. Odor struck out in the second. He's 0 for 1.
talked about this earlier, an interesting matchup between these two. I like kind of the analogy used, or the description of a couple of guys that stick to the strength of their game. 3 for 12 now for Rougned Odor, 4 strikeouts in those 12 at bats.
Bouncer deep at first, but Davis was there, feeds McCullers, and the inning is done. The Rangers leave a man in scoring position. We've played 4 this afternoon. Rangers trail by 3. Tickets are available in the Hyundai Club tomorrow. Rangers and Astros wrap up this 4-game series, and you can enjoy the game in climate-controlled comfort with that unique view of the field. Purchase your tickets. Just go to texasrangers.com/Hyundai Club. Come on out and join us. Nick Gardewine just called up earlier this morning and ready to make his 2018 season debut.
You see what he did last year with AA Frisco, 33 games, very nice numbers. How about 53 strikeouts in 36 2/3 innings? And Nick, a guy with a four-seam fastball that sits right around 95 miles an hour, changeup at 89, slider, which is his first secondary offering. That pitch averages around 89 miles per hour.
A second pitch lined out to center field, right to Carlos Tocci. One out in the 5th inning.
Second baseman Jose Altuve.
So Matt Moore today went 4 innings, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Gardewine is on. Bullpen will have it from here. Jose Altuve, 3rd place hitter for the Astros, steps in.
Yeah, think about Nick Gardewine, right? You wake up in the minor leagues, and instead, a couple hours later, facing Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. It's the life of a baseball player. You never know. And I will tell you this too: when players see what happened last night and realize that Delano DeShields might be hurt, or if we even had a more definitive conclusion on what happened last night, they're all wondering, looking, who's it going to be? Who's going to get the opportunity?
Well, Altuve sends one out to left center. That's a base hit, his 2nd of the game. He thought real hard about going for 2, and it looks to me like regrets the fact that he didn't try.
Well, he might be frustrated too about his turn around first base. He looked like he might have stumbled a little bit, and that's what cost him. We'll see the pitch here first. Pitch up in the zone. We know Jose Altuve, a good high ball hitter. Tongue out as usual. Watch him here as he goes around. Yeah, he kind of missed where the bag was. Didn't take his turn exactly the way that he wanted to, and that caused that hesitation. That's why he ended up not going for 2, although I think that would have been a close play anyway.
He's on now for Correa, and Gardewine will toss over there on him. Altuve with a couple of hits today. That's now 21 consecutive games in this ballpark in which he has reached base safely, so continues to play well here. Correa's had a big day today. Single, a double. He has scored a run. You saw the numbers for Gardewine last year at AA Frisco. He did pitch in 12 games with the Rangers last summer. .563 earned run average. One strike offering. There it is. Strike 2. So Correa with 2 more hits today. How about this last 5 games that he has played here? 10 for 18. Boy. Seems like a guy who could certainly, who has deserved and earned a day off tomorrow. Wouldn't be afraid. Here's a bouncing ball right side and his 3rd hit of the day. Altuve with an aggressive turn at second. Lazar's got a good arm. It's cut off by Andrus and back to first, not in time. So they're on the corners with 1 out.
Well, 3rd hit on the day for Carlos Correa, and for Nick Gardewine, a tough break. He made a good pitch, got himself a ground ball, but unfortunately, as you see the slider away, very well located. But give Carlos Correa a little bit of credit for going with that pitch and just hitting it right in the hole. Playing straight up in that spot, or even cheating a little bit. Could have been a double play, but just a well located ground ball. As you see Jose Altuve sliding into 3rd. That's frustrating. That was a good pitch too.
Well, the double play still in order here for Gardewine. If he can get a ground ball from Marwin Gonzalez, maybe get out of this inning with no damage done. Top of the 5th, 4-1 Houston. Gonzalez doubled in a run his last time up. That was in the 3rd inning. It's 0-2. Well, we've had perfect weather to open the season here at Globe Life Field, and another beautiful day today. Temperatures in the low 70s. And it's very comfortable.
Hall of Fame row over there. Adrian Beltre, his day will come. Jeff Bagwell jersey in there.
This ball hit well out to left field. And handled out there. Tagging and headed to 3rd, though, Altuve, and he'll score on the sac fly by Gonzalez. Nothing Robinson can do, really. So it is 5-1 Houston.
Designated hitter Elvis Andrus.
We'll bring up Evan Gattis with 2 outs here. Astros with 3 runs in the 2nd inning, and really a frustrating inning for Matt Moore in the 2nd. Then they've added runs, single tallies in the 3rd and 5th now. Gattis, a double his first time up, struck out looking in the 3rd. A little bit odd to open the season with a 4-game series. Certainly very strange to open it with back-to-back 4-game series, as the Rangers are doing this year. 7 of their first 17 games against their in-state rivals. 0-2 on Gattis. And then, you know, I kind of lost track of this, CJ. When the schedule came out, there were a couple of oddities. You saw that there were a lot of games early against Houston. But I'd forgotten really that by July 29th, the season series will be done. These 2 teams will not face one another down the stretch. That to me is weird.
It is weird, and when you think about how much divisional play that we have, the Rangers and Astros or any kind of fight for the division, and you don't see each other, it is what it is. You don't get that opportunity, and so you certainly have to take advantage of those games when you get them early on.
Bouncer, 3rd base. Beltre right there. He'll go the short way to 2nd, and the inning is done. But the Astros add a run. Back to a 4-run lead. We're halfway to the house this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention
Bottom of the fifth this afternoon. Join T-Mobile and score free MLB.tv all season long. Sign up now through April 2nd at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Pretty good deal, by the way. All the games live on your mobile device, on demand. So go to bottom of the fifth inning, 5-1 the score. Juan Centeno lined out of the second inning is 0 for 1. The pitch from McCullers. Chased it. 0-2.
We'll take a look at Lance McCullers Jr., what he has done so far regarding his pitch arsenal, how he has used those pitches, 22 fastballs, 37 curveballs. That is about an 8% jump from what he did and how he used it a year ago. The fastball usage actually down, right? That was one question with him, was would we see more fastballs? And you see one there at 94 miles an hour for a called third strike against Juan Centeno.
One out. Well, McCullers' use of the curveball is unusual to say the least. The degree to which he uses it, and the funny thing about it is he's so confident in that pitch. He loves it so much that, as legend has it, when he warms up before ball games, he does not throw the curveball in the bullpen.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Talking about that today before the game. I've never heard of anything like that, especially when it is your dominant pitch.
Yeah. One strike pitch to Robinson. He shows bunt. But apparently pulled back, 1-1. Robinson's second look this afternoon at McCullers. Struck out the first time. Takes on the corner for strike 2.
As we talk about that curveball usage last year, you mentioned it, how often he threw that pitch, 49% of the time. We've seen it at 54% so far today. Just to kind of put that in perspective a little bit, of qualifiers last year, nobody threw their curveball more than Drew Pomeranz of the Red Sox. 37% of the time. Now, Lance McCullers Jr. did not qualify. I mentioned those innings in the 22 starts. But he would absolutely blow the field away with curveball usage from a percentage standpoint compared to any other starter in the game.
They're trying to change that a little bit as a swing and a miss is strike 3. Another strikeout for McCullers, his 8th this afternoon. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Carlos Tocci, his second big league at bat, struck out in the third inning. So McCullers with 8 strikeouts already. Now his pitch count at 75. And we have seen a number of managers pulling pitchers a little early in games. I mean, he'll now have gone through the lineup twice. Let's see how long they allow him to go. The 0-2. Just missed.
Nobody warming up in the Astros bullpen right now. If Lance McCullers Jr. can finish off the Rangers here, it'd be top of the order again. Third time through, as you mentioned, at somewhere near the 80 pitch mark.
Swing and a miss, and he makes light work of Carlos Tocci. A 1-2-3 fifth, in fact. And we head to the 6th inning, 5-1 Houston. It's a 2:05 start. Rangers and Blue Jays. First 7,500 fans, 13 and under, get a Rangers pocket tee courtesy of Dasani. Get tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Well, that's the next homestand. The first series of the next homestand against the Blue Jays, and then the Angels in town. All right, 6th inning. Jesse Chavez has come on here, and he might be asked to eat up a couple of innings. As the bottom third of the order in this 6th inning. And upstairs to Davis, 2-0.
Here's a look at the Jesse Chavez numbers from last season with the Angels, and you see both roles there. 38 games with 21 of those starts. 28 home runs allowed for Jesse. A veteran and a true swingman, and that certainly brings a ton of value to this Texas Rangers staff. See a fastball around 92 miles an hour. He throws a cutter, throws a slider, changeup, and a curveball. Really all of it. Full repertoire for Jesse Chavez.
Fly ball right field. Mazzaro waits for it. One away. We talked a lot about the remake of this Rangers staff, both starting and the bullpen. A lot of new additions.
Two of those not active at this time with Bartolo Colon and Tim Lincecum. But we've seen Doug Fister, we've seen Matt Moore, Chris Martin, and now Jesse Chavez appear in games, and we'll see Mike Minor tomorrow.
One in there for a strike to McCann. 1-1 to count. Well, it was an early exit today from Matt Moore. 4 innings pitched. Gardewine pitched the 5th inning, and now Chavez. Tomorrow we'll see Mike Minor, and looking forward to seeing him. He pitched well during spring training, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the Rangers handle him, trying to keep him on a rotation that simulates a 6-man rotation while keeping everybody else on a schedule that simulates a 5-man rotation. A little bit of a challenge for those two guys. 2-2 lined out to right field, and it drops in. Mazzara gets to it with a backhand. McCann will settle for the single.
Let's take a look at our Ford game summary and what we've seen so far here, and it's going to be Jake Marisnick back in the 2nd inning. Hit this home run off of Matt Moore on a breaking pitch that stayed up in the zone. So the side swing there. Good power from Marisnick. 16 home runs a year ago for this Astros club, and he does that out of the 9-hole. Good defensive outfielder as well, as he's coming to the plate now here against Jesse Chavez.
Strike in there to Marisnick. Good series, good start to the year already for the Astros center fielder. Chavez gets him to bounce one third base, deep behind the back. Beltre to second for one. What a play. They had the slow moving McCann, but not a simple play for Adrian Beltre.
Well, that's tremendous awareness from Adrian Beltre. First and foremost, it's a really good play to field that ground ball, but to even feel comfortable enough to throw this ball to second base as you catch it on the way up on that second hop. But look at the throw there. Nice job by Rougned Odor. We saw him yesterday try to turn a tough ground ball into a double play when he ended up coming off the bag because of the weird throw and then throwing the ball away. Well, a much smarter decision there, just to go ahead and act like a first baseman and stretch it out. But I got to tell you, watching that live, I'm thinking, okay, well, you're just going to throw it out to first, right? Take the sure thing. You're not going to try to turn a double play, but those are the kind of things that smart baseball players understand. They know their runners. Internal clock, he knew he had time, and did a good job of getting the lead runner.
Yeah, because from back there, you know, Marisnick can move, and that's no gimme that you get him at first base. Truly a better opportunity to get McCann at second, despite the challenge of making the throw at that angle. Foul ball.
That second hop, when you watch that replay, I mean, that thing bounces up so fast. I mean, you just have to have great hands, and certainly Adrian Beltre does. It's a really impressive play.
"38 years old for at least about another week." One strike pitch and a little bit in. We talked about it a little bit during spring training broadcasts, about Adrian Beltre and what he's accomplished in his career, but what he is doing at this age, because it is so difficult to play that position at an advanced age. You just don't see it. George Brett was done playing third base every day at 33. He moved to first base, outfield, and he said, when he moved, he's like, it was like having a day off. And Brooks Robinson, the great one, he was not playing third base at this advanced age, certainly, and not producing offensively as well.
Well, not only is Adrian Beltre out there playing third base, but he's playing it extremely well at a high level defensively, right? It's one thing when you get a guy out there and as he gets a little bit older, and you say, well, he's a legacy type of player. We allow him to continue to play that position even though maybe he's not at his best. It's not true here.
No.
He plays an incredible third base. It's absolutely fascinating.
Got a Gold Glove, 2 years ago at third. Brooks Robinson's last Gold Glove, and he had 15 of them. He was pretty good. Came in 1975. He was 38 years old, but he hit .201. Hard ground ball, and that one by Beltre down the left field line. Marisnick, as we mentioned, has good speed. He's to third. Gary Pettis waves him. Here comes a relay throw. Not in time. Marisnick gets in there just ahead of the throw. Springer with the double, and Houston adds to their lead at 6-1.
Well, no fault of the Rangers here. They played this perfectly, did the absolute best that they could. You'll see a slider stay up a little bit for Jesse Chavez, and Adrian Beltre's not going to get to this ball, but as it goes in the corner, Drew Robinson does a nice job getting it quickly into the cutoff man. You see the throw here from Elvis Andrus. He makes a nice throw right on line. They just could not get Marisnick. I'm not sure there's anything the Rangers would have done differently there.
Well, now Alex Bregman and a chopper at third base. Beltre has all kinds of time, and the inning is over, but the Astros add another run. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 5-run game.
We're going to take you back to the third inning and the Elvis Andrus home run. Look at the location of this pitch. Full count, pitch was up, but look how short the swing is. You can really get a feel for it as you see his bat path right there. And Elvis is one of these guys that, yes, the power has increased, but he doesn't necessarily sell out for the power. He's still a guy that shortens up his swing a little bit with 2 strikes, and the fact that he was able to do that and still take Lance McCullers Jr. deep, all the more impressive for the leadoff hitter today, the Rangers. And by the way, the very first time for Elvis Andrus that he hit a home run as the leadoff hitter in his career. But check this out. A little bit of encouraging news. Lance McCullers Jr. third time through the order. Here we are right now. A 1,000 OPS last year. That was the 3rd worst in Major League Baseball for pitchers that faced at least 100 batters. League average right around 750 for the OPS on base plus slugging percentage. So let's hope that that trend continues. Lance McCullers Jr. has never beaten the Texas Rangers. We mentioned that in our open. I would like that to continue as well. There it is for guys like Dave. Don't quite understand all this fancy stuff. On base percentage plus slugging percentage. The Major League average 750, and the Rangers were exactly that. Right at the Major League average.
I don't need you mansplaining stuff to me. How dare you?
I do like OPS. I think it's a good one to use. I mean, and it gets crazy, of course. You can look at numbers all day long, and there are no shortage of different stats to use when it comes to measuring offense.
Another grounder back up the box. Another piece of McCullers with it. Andrus will have a base hit. And that one didn't look like it was the type that was going to injure a guy or hurt him. I think it might have had his glove on it.
Yeah, I think that's why we see a little bit of frustration here from McCullers Jr. after this curveball away, and you see that it caught a little bit of the glove. But you know, Lance McCullers Jr.'s turn to the side. It's a pretty tough play to make when you're turned sideways like that, and the way that he landed. I think he's just more angry that he didn't catch it. And you know, if he doesn't touch it, there's a good chance that Carlos Correa would have gotten to it, or Jose Altuve potentially, the way that the defense was aligned.
We'll see if Gallo has any better feel this 3rd time through. He is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout.
Nice to see a breaking ball just hang up in the zone just a little bit for Joey. Watch him deposit that thing into the right field seats.
He's had some good swings the first couple of days. 1-0. And that'll even things up. Well, man at first, and it means a less dramatic shift. Still, pretty discernible. Bregman playing really a shortstop. Correa and Altuve angling well over to the right.
And as we'll talk about this a lot with Joey and talk about bunts, I think circumstances matter too as well when you have that conversation. Say, okay, well, the Rangers are down by 5. They need base runners. But on the other hand, Lance McCullers Jr., 3rd time around the order, you're thinking there should be some fatigue. The pitches now, number 87 coming next here. And so do you bank on the fact that you got a better chance of a pitcher making a mistake? Or do you go and you say, well, you know, we're down by 5. We need base runners. So this is a good time to try it. Certainly not with 2 strikes.
2-2 the count. Well, not only would you, of course, not expect him to bunt with 2 strikes, you really don't expect him to shorten up, give you that 2-strike approach. I mean, he'll still be swinging for the upper deck. But it comes up empty, and that's a 10th strikeout this afternoon for McCullers.
Third baseman,
It's a good pitch, and he continues to locate the breaking ball very well, down and even away from Joey Gallo, just below the zone. He's been good with that pitch. We know how much he likes it, and understandably so.
Well, he has struck out the side in 2 of the last 3 innings, and he is 1 short of his career high 11 strikeouts, which he did several years ago against the Orioles. Beltre 0 for 2. He struck out his last time in the 4th. Chopper third base, and that one is through. That's a base hit. Andrus has great speed. He's into third. Beasley sending him to the plate. The throw behind him. Beltrade drives him home and makes it a 6-2 game.
Well, off the bat, this was shaping up to look like potentially another good play by Alex Bregman. He ended up flat out missing this baseball as he tried to rush. We'll see the pitch here. Another breaking ball located away. Adrian catches the top half of the ball, and it's a chopper. And instead of playing it back, Alex Bregman tries it on the short hop and just whiffs on it. He just completely misses it. You see it there, and that'll be a double for Adrian Beltre. Nice base running as well. It's a pretty good throw. They made a run at it, but Elvis able to outrun that throw, and that's going to be it for Lance McCullers Jr.
So McCullers, third time through, gives up a couple of hits. Rangers trying to fight their way back in it. Texas Rangers are excited about helping renovate and refurbish youth baseball or softball complexes in the region. We're also looking to provide new equipment with Globe Life Texas Rangers Baseball and Softball Grant Program. Eligible organizations in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arkansas, and Louisiana can apply at texasrangers.com/grants. Applications are due by June 30th. Uh-oh, bad news. They're the Bears.
And there are 3 of them. Now, first thought was, are those replicas? The original Bad News Bears uniforms were print, right? They were not script.
I really hope that that's a local Little League team right there. That would be sweet.
It's a really smart idea, for sure. Instead of fighting over who gets to be the Rangers, which would always be the case, of course.
Get to be the Bears.
Pretty good one.
Will Harris is a new pitcher for the Houston Astros.
Good season for him last year. 46 games, 2.98 ERA. Look at that, just 7 walks in his 45 innings of work.
This ball hit well out to center field, but right at Marisnik. 2 gone.
Will Harris, just a 2-pitch pitcher. He's got that natural cutter that he throws at 92 miles an hour, and that's a pitch that he throws mostly 70% of the time, and then he's got a curveball at 82. So when you look at his pitch repertoire, you won't see a fastball in there, although the cutter is his fastball. Curveball, that all-speed pitch, that'll be around 82 miles an hour.
Well, here's Chu. And he swings and misses. Chu 0 for 6 in his career against Will Harris. McCullers leaves after 5 1/3 today. Struck out 10. As you can see, the Rangers are getting some pretty good at bats here in the 6th inning. A single, a double, a run in, and A.J. Hinch figured play it safe. Go to that pin.
A line out by Nomar Mazara, the first true flyout that we have seen so far today. The only other ball hit in the air for an out, Juan Centeno's line drive to short. Everything else has been a ground ball or a strikeout.
Yeah, and that Centeno liner, that was right back up the middle. It just happened that the shift had Correa in perfect position to make the play. Otherwise, that one looked like it was ticketed for a base hit to center. The 0-2. Look out. Well, the Rangers are in shouting distance here, but a base hit this inning would be big as Chu swings and misses, and that ends the 6th inning. They get a run back, but we go to the 7th inning. It's 6-2. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, though, for Houston. Jose Altuve leading things off. Jesse Chavez out for a 2nd inning. And that one a little tall for Altuve. A lot of activity today offensively for Houston. And you can see Altuve and Correa there in the heart of things, doing the heavy lifting. Altuve with a couple of hits and a run scored today. The reigning American League MVP. And it's 1-2. Chavez coming right after him.
Yeah, good fastball there. You know, registers at 91. That ball looked like it really jumped on Jose Altuve a little bit. I mentioned the deep repertoire of Jesse Chavez.
Altuve sends it down the right side toward the corner. Slicing foul. Wow.
That was close.
And I'm just watching it live from here. I could watch that 100 more times, and I think every time I would think it was fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
On the left side of the pole?
Yeah, I'm very appreciative right now of Gabe Morales, our first base umpire, who was down the line and making the call very clear. That's weird. 1-2, and this one lined over second base. So a third hit of the afternoon for Altuve.
Shortstop Carlos Correa.
Jose Altuve, such a difficult out. Jesse Chavez trying to go in with this fastball, and it was up and more over the plate. And talked about this earlier with Jose Altuve being so good at the top of the zone. He's good at all parts of the zone, but especially strong on fastballs up. And that's a good example of 2 strikes, not getting big with the swing for a guy who's shown some power over the last couple of years. Slapping that ball to right center field. He's a great hitter. There's no 2 ways about it.
Now Correa. And he takes a strike. Altuve, not a huge lead over there. They're not going. Count now 0-2 on Correa. So Altuve got his 3rd hit. Correa already with 3. And shooting for a 4-hit game. He has 6 of those in his career. Rangers at double play depth up the middle. With this ball blasted out to left field. Robinson looks up, and that one rattles around just beyond the wall. A home run. Every time the Rangers seem to get a run back and try and climb back in the game, the Astros seem to provide an answer. 8-2.
It's been quite the day for Carlos Correa. Now 4 for 4. A couple of singles, a double, and this home run for a couple of RBIs, and his 2nd run score. His fastball was down in the zone. Carlos knew it when he got it. Such a great swing, so strong. Scored that fastball up pretty well.
Now Marwin Gonzalez. Now that home run by Correa, 383 feet. Out over that wall in left field, that 14-foot high wall. Well, Marwin Gonzalez has driven in a couple. 1 on a double, 1 on a sac fly. 1-2 the count. This ball popped up. Robinson working against that sun, able to make the catch. 1 away. And now a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
We're so confident in our new car pricing that if I can't beat a new car Kia deal in Texas, I'm just going to give it to you.
1 away, and Evan Gattis. Gattis 1 for 3. And Chavez missing a little bit off the plate. Chavez, we thought, might pitch multiple innings. He threw a 1-run 6th inning. Now 2 runs here in the 7th. Rangers bullpen the first 2 games really effective at keeping the team in the game on Thursday and then allowing them to stretch the lead a little bit yesterday on their way to the win. Today the bullpen has allowed 4 runs in 2 1/3 innings. 1-2 pitch. And he got him swinging. So Gattis strikes out. 2 gone here in the 7th.
You mentioned how good the bullpen has been so far through the first 2 for Texas Rangers. 8 pitchers used. I mean, 7 1/3 with 9 strikeouts. Just a 1 run allowed. Certainly Jeff Bannister thrilled with what he has seen through the first 2. Small bump here so far in game 3, but you know what is probably most important for this team
No, it's a little bit of a different look now. A couple of veterans that have been added down there. No walks today out of the bullpen, or really the entire game so far for Rangers pitching. And if I'm not mistaken, we see one walk, I think, out of the bullpen so far in the first two games.
Well, they walked a couple yesterday. Ground ball into the hole short. Andrus is there and takes care of it. Good job by Joey Gallo over there at first base. Inning done. Astros add another run. As we hand it over to Chuck Morgan, our public address announcer, as we prepare for God Bless America.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise and direct your attention to the area behind home plate and welcome back a quill. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, a quill will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and we've talked in the first couple of games about the adjustments Rougned Odor wanted to make in the offseason, and most of those coming at the plate, but one of them coming in the clubhouse before the game as he is having to wrap his own bats, tape his own bats. That was something that Mike Napoli used to do. There you see that white tape on the bat. That was something that Mike Napoli used to do for really liked the way that Nap did it, and now that of course Mike Napoli is gone, it's something that Rugi is having to do on his own. He says he feels good about his technique thus far.
It's important.
Wait a minute.
Those are the kind of things.
Let's take a look at that technique. What do we have there? That's
a
little sloppy.
Well, it could be all depending on, you're looking for the cosmetic angle.
Yes.
Or it could be more about the feel angle and what he likes, and maybe there's a purpose behind that pattern that works for Rougned Odor. Maybe you should call Mike Napoli, ask him, and then you could become Rougned Odor's tape man, right?
Bat wrap dude.
Yeah. Get Raymond down here. I need my bat wrap.
Listen, that'd be a heck of a gig. 2-strike pitch, and Rugi bounces it to second base. Altuve from the knee makes the play. 1 away here in the 7th inning. So Tony Sipp, the veteran left-hander, has come on here for the Astros.
A little bit of a rough year for Tony last year. 39 strikeouts, though, in his 37 in the 3rd innings. He's going to have an opportunity against 3 left-handers here in Odor, Centeno, and Drew Robinson.
Last couple of seasons for Sipp have not gone the way he would have liked. And if there's one weakness with this Astros team, and it's probably a little bit of a stretch to call it a weakness, is, you know, from the left side out of that bullpen, even for that matter the rotation, they don't have a lot of really good options. Sipp numbers last year not good, a little bit worse than they were the previous season. Bouncer to first base, and there are 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hello again to Dana Larson. Ooh, it's a football score.
Certainly was.
Drew Robinson 0 for 2 today with a couple of strikeouts. Lefty on lefty. And he takes a strike. Robinson getting the start in left field today. As we mentioned earlier, might see a little more of Drew in the coming days. Rangers will have to figure out how to handle the new void in center field with Delano DeShields on the disabled list and likely out for a month and a half. Sipp's 1-1. Just missed.
One of the issues for Sipp last year, you know, there were even numbers, 247 against lefties, 247 against righties, and he had 73 at bats against both lefties and righties, and even lefty specialists. You don't usually see it split down the middle that even, but 5 home runs allowed to left-handed hitters last year. That was part of the problem. A couple years ago, though, it had a dominating season.
Yeah.
2015 had the 1.99 ERA in 60 innings of work, and the Astros rewarded him with a 3-year, $18 million contract. He struggled through the first 2 years of that deal. $20 home runs and 80 innings allowed by Sipp over the last 2 years.
Strike 3 called, and he pulsed a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th, so Sipp looked good this afternoon. To the 8th inning. the showstopper from last night. 17th inning, Miguel Rojas. Oh, man. Game-winning hit. Beat the Cubs 2-1. 17 innings in Miami. On a night which the Marlins and the Cubs paid tribute to the 17 fallen students from Parkland High School. And so really kind of an emotional night in Miami. It's been a week of a lot of showstoppers and big stories. As Jake Diekman drops one in there for a strike, and it is 1-1 to Brian McCann.
Did you see the announced attendance for that game in Miami?
No, I did not.
Game of the year. No, the Cubs traveled pretty well.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be okay? 12,000. 12,034 at that game, and they missed a good one. It's surprising, even when I get the Marlins are going to struggle, and they cleared house a little bit, and so their attendance will suffer to some degree. But game 2 against the Cubs, that was a shocker.
See, Profar was checked in at third base for the Rangers here in the 8th inning. Diekman with a 2-1 count on McCann, batting 8th today, but McCann's had a good day, a couple of hits. And he takes another strike. Left-hander working quickly and runs it inside. One of the other quote-unquote showstoppers last night. On my way home, I was flipping around the dial, tuning in games. The Giants and Dodgers were getting after it again, and Cueto was working on a perfect game.
Through 6.
Yeah, and he lost a perfect game. The Giants ended up winning the game 1-0. Joe Panik with a home run.
St. John's own 2 home runs to start the season.
2 home runs. The Giants have scored 2 runs and won 2 games. How about this? It's the first time, or rather the second time in the Giants history, and that's a long history, like 138 years of baseball, that they have won consecutive 1-0 decisions on the road. The last time it happened was in 1908. I was asking Evan Grant about that. I think he was there to cover that team, but he didn't seem to recall it.
Well, as you might imagine, there's a little bit of panic in Los Angeles right now. Kenley Jansen led up that
That's
home run.
good. I love what you just did there.
Oh, sorry. It's
Very
pretty hard
slick.
not to. But Kenley Jansen led up the home run. His velocity was down. The great cutter, natural cutter that he has, the closer with the Dodgers. So they haven't scored a run yet, and their closer's velocity is down.
And Jake Marisnik, a quick out, as Diekman dispatches of him on 3 pitches.
See it here from Diekman, a crossfire fastball. It's a good 0-2 pitch just off the plate, and Jake, of course, has that gutted out foundation where he has pledged $100 for every strikeout that he earns this season. You can pledge at pledgeit.org/guttedout. You and I and Emily are on board. Make a little bit less money than Jake, so we didn't go $100.
Jared Sandler is in.
Sandler's in.
You were making a plea to get into Pudge's wallet.
Yeah, in case he's listening. It's a deep wallet. Kind of get in there a little bit.
2 out of Springer, and Diekman misses off the plate. One out here. Springer doubled in the 6th inning. Drove in Marisnik. It's a 6-run lead for the Astros, and Diekman with another miss. A couple of walks here in the 8th inning.
Think about this too. First 2 walks that we've seen out of the bullpen. Jake Diekman's been a while since he's thrown. Right, the last spring training game got rained out. Of course, the next day was an off day. A couple of days there, so Jeff Bannister just wanted him to get a little bit of work in. Didn't want to push him too much, keep him sharp, because there's no off days for a while right now. And in this kind of game, they certainly want Jake Diekman to not waste any pitches.
It'll be an official game. Jose Leclerc is coming on. 20-game plan. It's the most flexible way to enjoy the 2018 Rangers season. You choose the 20 games that work best for your schedule. And don't worry if something comes up, you can't make it to one of the games, not a big deal. 20-game plan includes a flexible exchange policy. If you'd like more of the details, check out some of the benefits. Go to texasrangers.com/20-game plans. So 2 men on after the Diekman walks. And Jose Leclerc will deal with Alex Bregman. See that sunshine poking through awkwardly for a left fielder. Not a lot of fun.
Glasses and the eye black. Try to battle that sun. Drew Robinson. I mentioned Jake Diekman coming out now with this game. It's 8-2. It's a 6-run lead. No off days coming for a little while for the Texas Rangers. So certainly want to make sure that you have everybody available. The other part of that as well is you're at that part in the order. We talked about this at the beginning of the game. Bregman, Altuve, and Carlos Correa all very good against left-handed pitching. And not so much that you're worried about Diekman not being able to get those guys out. You'll put him up against any hitter in the league, but it's a good call in this situation. And the other part of it too for Jose Leclerc, a little bit of a test, right? One of the last guys to make this roster. So Jeff Bannister has an opportunity to push him a little bit against the heart of the order with the Astros.
Two-1 to Bregman. Up and away. There's that fastball at 95 miles per hour.
Here's the Rangers that are in the bullpen that are left now. 4 have been used with Leclerc in the game. So you got Bush, Jepson, Kella, and Martin. And I would say that Martin and Jepson probably not available today. Both of those guys throwing in back-to-back games.
Bregman lifts this one high in the air, deep out to center, and Tochi all the way back to the fence to make the catch. Well, I'm glad that he was so relaxed. He seemed to be comfortable that was going to stay in. The further he ran, the more my heart began to sink.
This ball carried a little bit off the bat of Alex Bregman. He's in a good hitter's count, 3-1. You see Tochi just kind of coasting, finding the wall. Yeah, no problem. The sun not an issue for him. He's got those glasses on his hat just in case he needs them. But the angle of that sun not bothering him.
So now 2 gone. And Altuve takes strike 1. Altuve 3 hits already today. Scored a couple of times. And off to a good start in 2018. Oh, beauty. Change up in there for a strike. 0-2 to Altuve.
That flyout put Bregman at 0 for 5 today, but Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa combined 7 for 8.
Yeah, they've made up for everybody else and then some. Altuve hitless in his career against Leclerc. 0 for 3 with a strikeout. McCann at second. He got on via the walk. Springer at first. Same story for him. Long set. And a little tapper. Third base foul. Profar trying to get to it quickly but couldn't sell it. You know, Profar getting the couple innings today at third base for Beltre. Chance for Beltre to get off his feet a little bit. And we'll see this season, whether it's for Adrian and Profar. We were told during spring training they're going to try their best to get him in, maybe a little bit at short, second, even first base. But today the conversation turned to, well, might be back to the outfield again too. So the versatility that he's been able to bring these last couple of years has carried some value. And he might get some decent time in the outfield.
Oh, that's a great pitch. Good changeup from Jose Leclerc on the 0-2 count. Perfectly located against Jose Altuve. But you're right. I was wondering the same thing when we knew that Delino DeShields was going to be hurt and miss some time. Would they reconsider? Because the plan this year was to only keep Jurickson Profar, mostly. I don't say the plan. It wasn't exclusively, but predominantly focusing on playing the infield, and that has changed now a little bit. And we'll see how this thing ultimately plays out. There's Delino. Got that news today with the fractured hamate. Put on the 10-day disabled list, but the reality is it'll be probably more like 4 to 6 weeks.
Two outs here. Altuve trying to fight his way back in this at bat. He's worked it now to 2-2. Here it comes. And that one out to center field. It's a 4-hit game for Altuve. They're going to send McCann. The throw comes through the plate, and it is not in time. Altuve drives in a run, and he makes it 9-2 Houston.
Such a good hitter. You'll see that changeup and well located down and away to Jose Altuve, but he's just such a good two-strike hitter. Another part of the problem, covers so much of the plate. See the throw here. Brian McCann just ahead of it, obviously not known for his running, but he is able to beat the ball to home plate.
So the inning continues now for Carlos Correa. Correa, 2 singles, a double, and a home run so far. You know what that means, don't you?
Pop up here.
The old triple away from the cycle.
Oh, that one.
Happens. Amazing. Earlier mentioning the 4-hit games he's had in his career. Today the 7th in his young career already. Good fastball there for a strike. It's 1-1. But how about this? Of the 7, 3 of them have been against the Rangers.
It's a little frustrating. He actually has 2 also against the New York Yankees. And 1 against the Boston Red Sox and Blue Jays.
2-1 the count. Now you saw there that was 3rd most among active players. Miguel Cabrera has 5 4-hit games versus the Rangers, and Ichiro also has 5.
So 5 of the now 7, but 5 of the 6 coming into this all happened last year.
Wow.
It's amazing. He had 5 4-hit games last year. Oh
boy, the movement of that pitch might have fooled everybody. It looked like it ended up right at the top of the zone.
That certainly did. And Carlos Correa bailed out. And usually umpires will hang in there a little bit longer. The only call here could be that that ball was up, and it certainly didn't appear to be, as you see on the Fox tracks, catching the top of the zone.
(3-1). And this one hit out towards center field. Tochi coming on. And that will do it. The Astros had another one. It's a 9-2 game. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by your North Texas Ford dealer. See your best in Texas Ford dealer during Truck Month. It's buy now time. Well, fans here enjoying a beautiful day. Both Rangers fans and Astros fans. In fact, there's been at times a little competition among the fans out of the stands, trying to see who can make the most noise. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here on a spectacular Saturday afternoon. And the Rangers need to get something going offensively, running very short on time. Carlos Tocci leading things off here in the 8th inning.
Good time for his first big league hit. A couple of strikeouts so far in his first 2 big league at bats. He has played a pretty nice center field. Very comfortable out there. His first start in the big leagues. Made a nice play against the wall and an Alex Bregman deep fly ball last inning.
And in there for a strike 1-1. Well, a couple of changes. Marwin Gonzalez has taken over at second base. Altuve can take the rest of the day off. Derek Fisher replaces Gonzalez out and left. And Fisher will hit third in the order. Tocci takes low. It's 2-1. First start of his big league career today. Tocci listed at 6'2", 160. We asked him about that, though. He says he's really more 175. This one flipped out over second, but Gonzalez able to get back there and make the play and take away what looked like potentially the first big league hit for Carlos Tocci.
We're going to take you through the 6th inning, and Elvis Andrus via StatCast. You see him leading off of first base. And take a look at his running here. The acceleration 6.14 seconds. His sprint speed 27.3. But more importantly, that first to home 10.6 seconds for Elvis Andrus. And out there, gotta believe giving Nomar Mazar a little bit of a hard time, the on-deck hitter, to maybe tell him he didn't have to slide. And having some fun with it, as Elvis Andrus always does.
I think he definitely had to slide to beat that circle.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it was
circle was chasing him. He was right on his tail the whole time. Oh,
my one issue.
Yeah.
No, it's only one that I have with StatCast.
Oh.
Not a big fan of the feet per second.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think for most people, they're like, well, what does that mean? Give me that in miles per hour. Is it faster than a cheetah? You know, that kind of stuff, where we can kind of put it in a number that's a little bit more easily consumed by the average viewer. Something we're working on. A lot of new toys that we have this year in the broadcast. We're very excited about all of them. Graphics, I'm sure a lot of people have noticed Fox Tracks this year, which has worked out really well. Traditionally, I never love always the strike zone there. I do like the way Fox does it. I think it's a little bit more subtle than other places we have seen in the past. Give you a really good idea of the strike zone, pitches that are in and out. But I'm going to call Mr. StatCast, talk about that feet per second speed thing.
Well, help me out though, because I think it'd be really helpful to walk me through the
or Mrs. StatCast,
the cheetah thing.
Yeah.
So how would you put that in cheetah units?
So you just put emojis next to it. Whether he's above the cheetah or below the black bear, whatever it may be.
Andrus aboard via the walk.
First baseman, Joey.
He has 2.5 cheetah speed, so Sip will have to pay close attention to him. Could you put different animal emojis for different guys, like?
Based on what we saw with Brian McCann coming around third, we could come up with one for him. I'm sure that may not be as complimentary as the cheetah.
Yeah, and then when guys have, unique routes in the outfield, you could have like a dog or something that's looking or sniffing around for something. Scalo swings and misses at strike one. Joey 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. I like the miles per hour thing though, because that means something to me. Astros have moderated the shifts a little bit against Gallo after opening night. And he takes a strike to count 0-2.
Now, as we continue this conversation on how he handles the shift, I do wonder about lower leverage situations, if that's the opportunity. In this game, obviously 9-2, bottom of the 8th. Do you want to take the at bat? Do you want to take a shot at bunting?
He strikes out for the 3rd time this afternoon. 2 gone here in the 8th. That brings up Jurickson Profar.
As much talk as we have done about Tony Sipp and the struggles the last couple of years, he's looked good so far here. He's kept the ball on the ground, a couple of strikeouts so far through an inning and 2/3.
Profar's first at bat of the season. You know, Profar so highly considered. It's hard to believe that 2012 and 13, you know, what, 5-6 years ago, was not just the Rangers' top prospect according to Baseball America. He was Major League Baseball's top prospect.
Of course, with Profar not eligible to be drafted as so many international stars that we get from our game. Signed by the Rangers.
Well, we've told the story before. Part of the courtship was the fact that he wanted to be an everyday player, not a pitcher. Most teams wanted to draft him, or sign him rather, as a pitcher. And the Rangers, part of the reason they won out in signing Profar was that they said, no, we'll bring you in as an everyday player. Because as a kid, like a teenager, he was throwing mid-90s and blowing people away. That kind of stuff's really coveted. Off the plate, it's 3-1.
And not only was he the Rangers' top prospect, but he was a consensus #1 overall prospect in all of Major League Baseball at such a young age. And that's the thing about Jurickson Profar that is exciting, is that he is still young, but it might not feel like it because high expectations happened when he was 19 years old and getting a little bit of time in the big leagues when he played in 9 games. The injuries have slowed him down, but they were really happy with what they saw this spring, and the Rangers are going to try to find some at-bats for him, and feeling like this could be the year to get that turned around. And there is still plenty of opportunity for him to become a very good big leaguer.
Well, good about there. Draws the walk. And now with 2 base runners, Omar Mazara steps in. 1 for 3 today. 2 runs, only 4 hits for the Rangers this afternoon. No errors. They have left 3 men on base. But the Astros have been unrelenting offensively. 9 runs, 14 hits, no errors. They have stranded 7. Sipp fairly deliberate.
.28 pitches now for Tony Sipp. We mentioned this earlier. The only lefty that is down there in that Astros bullpen. Certainly getting his work in. A lot of lefties in the lineup today. But you go much further, he's probably unavailable for tomorrow. They have, of course, Chris Davinsky. Does a good job against lefties for them. But it is rare that you would see the only lefty in your bullpen try to throw 2 innings in this kind of game.
One ball, 1 strike on Mazara. Mazara 1 for 8 in his career against Sipp. That one's off the plate. Yeah, Sipp now at 30 pitches. We're just talking about Profar with that walk a moment ago. His youth. Mazara still just 22 years old. There's so much youth on this team. The core of young players certainly here and in place, already getting a lot of experience. Certainly Joey Gallo right there at the top of that list of important young players. Rougned Odor another. This one slapped by third and into left field. Around third base is Andrus. He'll score easily. Profar stops at second. It's an RBI single for Nomar Mazara. And it's a 9-3 game.
We've seen this from Nomar Mazara before. He hit just .228 against lefties last season, but he understands the approach. We talk about him using the entire field, and he did that extremely well and enough to knock Tony Sipp out of the game.
So A.J. Hinch will go to the bullpen. A 9-3 game. Back in a moment. Eighth inning.
I'll take a look at the Nomar Mazara at bat against Tony Sipp. It's a pretty good pitch that's away, right on the corner, maybe even off the plate, but elevated enough for Nomar. Does a nice job. You see the short swing and just kind of slapping that ball to left field. Perfect job in a tough situation. You got a runner in scoring position. Down to the count to a lefty. Expect to see a lot more of that from Nomar Mazara. And the Rangers pretty happy with what they have in this young core. Nomar, Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, 731 combined games by players 24 years and younger last year. Goes away what the Cubs and the Padres did. And not only just young players, but impact young players that they believe in, that they certainly think will be part of this future. As you see Joey Gallo there having a conversation. Justin Mayshore, the assistant hitting coach.
Colin McHugh has come on now for the Astros and deals high to Shin-Soo Choo, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. They shift on Choo. 3 infielders over on the right side, and he takes a strike. They leave Bregman at a pretty moderate position. See McHugh's numbers last year. Used as a starter last season. It's 2-1.
Yeah, this is just the 7th relief appearance of Colin McHugh's career. 111 starts, 117 games. With the acquisition of Garrett Cole. Justin Verlander last year, a little bit deeper rotation than they have had in years past, even going back to the beginning of last season.
2-2. High in the air left field. Sun, a bit of a challenge out there, but Fisher has it measured. So the Rangers will have to settle for 1 run in the 8th. 9th inning on the way. Tomorrow, right back out here to complete this 4-game series in our probables tomorrow. Brought to you by North Texas Ford. Garrett Cole in his first appearance as an Astro. 31 homers allowed last season, 2nd most in the National League. And Mike Minor will make his Rangers debut as well. I'm really excited to see him throw. Look good in spring training. And he will have a chance tomorrow. See if he can secure a win for the Rangers in the finale. Matt Bush, though, on right here.
I'm with you. I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. As Matt Bush will come on for the 2nd time. He threw an inning in the season opener. Allowed a run, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts, 22 pitches over that outing for Matt Bush.
Well, he starts with Marwin Gonzalez. Switch hitter, bats left-handed and takes low. It's 1-1. Gonzalez has driven in a couple today. Had the sac fly in the 5th inning, the RBI double in the 3rd. Holds off. It's 2-1. Matt Bush has handled Gonzalez well in their head-to-heads. Gonzalez hitless in 5 tries, but ahead here, 3-1. That one finds a corner. Fastball at 95. So Bush bringing that good heat as he typically does. And he's got a nice slider, good curveball. And that one skips to the backstop. So Marwin Gonzalez, first man on.
Designated hitter, Evan Yass.
All right, CJ, here's a great opportunity for you. MLB beat the streak. Download the app, play it for free, and you start your streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today.
I'm in.
That's fun.
5.6.
$5.6 million.
Of course, the idea there with the 56 game hitting streak. I'm sure you knew that. Pretty smart guy.
What would be the probability of actually achieving the streak? As the wild pitch moves Gonzalez up a base.
Well, I'd say it's pretty low, obviously. Nobody's ever won it, correct?
Correct.
Done this before. So,
you ever tried? You ever tried anything like this?
I have not. But I wouldn't be overly confident. It really is amazing because
it seems easy. It sounds like a piece of cake.
Just got to pick one guy.
Get a hit, that's all.
Yep.
Strike to Gaddis, count 1-1. So I've got the universe of major league players on any given day. And I just look at the matchup or who's hot, whatever. And I just say, you know, I think Altuve is going to get a hit today. And I'm good. I move on. Got a hit streak going. And then the next day, I think it's going to be Adrian Beltre. Gets a hit. I got 2. All I need is 54 more to get to $5.8 million.
Did you say
$5.6 million? Just adding the 2 to the 5.6.
No.
I feel like I'm sitting in a pretty good spot right here.
Yep.
I had 2 games under my belt. Check swing. Pitch a little wide. It's 2-2. The other thing that comes out this time of year is MLB The Show. Oh.
You guys get it yet?
My oldest loves it. I mean,
yeah.
he could play that all day long. The other guy who really loves it is Elvis Andrus. And he likes to play as himself.
Sure. Why
and
wouldn't you?
He says the real version, Elvis, is much better than the MLB The Show version.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
he feels like he got slighted a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever powers they gave him and ratings and everything else.
Gaddis draws the walk. That's back-to-back freebies issued by Bush. Yeah, and I don't know if it's so much that he feels like maybe he got shorted in terms of what they attributed his player. He just feels like it's easier for him to step in a real game and produce than it is to use the controllers and produce
Well,
in that game.
That is certainly true. That's understandable. I get it.
That shouldn't be possible. It's got to be easier doing the video game.
I'm always floored. I still, every once in a blue moon, I'll get some guy send me a note. I got MLB The Show, whatever, 2001. You're really good on that game. I'm like, how's that possible? It was a terrible year, and the year before. They'll send me like a screenshot of what they did on my seasons. Well, I'm like, yeah, I've never done anything close to that.
Did you ever play?
Of course. My favorite, though, was I had, what was the handheld PSP? Remember those? I don't think they make those anymore with those little discs. And I made it to a Japanese video game. I felt like I really arrived at that point.
Well, that resonated a little more with you?
Yeah, I've used myself to play home run derby in that.
As the pitcher? Or?
As the Gai Jing, I came in and just launched.
That seems a little silly. 1-1 to J.D. Davis. 9-3. Houston leading here in the 9th inning. I always said the other thing is he likes to play in virtual reality.
Okay, I haven't done that.
And he says it is really, really cool. And he says he likes to watch other people try it too, as him, right? And
I mean, can you like run in field when you with the VR goggles on? Are you actually moving around, or is it just looking left to right with the controller?
Oh, I haven't done it. I'd say I don't know. There's strike 3 called on J.D. Davis. 1 away.
Catcher Brian McCann.
We'll bring up Brian McCann. It's amazing how much time the guys spend playing video games, right? Whether it's something like that, or we talked to Jake Diekman the other day. He's really into Fortnite. I mean, he is killing it.
Did he say
Fortnite.
with Lincecum? Is that what he said? They were teammates?
Yeah.
Hunter Pence opened up a coffee shop slash game shop in Houston recently.
Oh,
Talked
really?
to him over the winter about this cool little kind of place that he was putting together, but basically built around gaming. I think the coffee part was almost secondary. But what's interesting about listening to athletes talk about it, who love it, and Jake was telling us, right, that it brings out the competitiveness in him a little bit more, but at the same time, they have their balance. Willie Calhoun talked about it in spring training. Stop playing once spring training starts. All winter, yeah, I'm in. Love it. But these guys do a good job of separating.
Fly ball out to left field. And Robinson takes care of that one. There are 2 out.
Center fielder Jake.
And here comes Jake Marisnick. So Bush back-to-back walks, but he struck out Davis, got McCann. And now needs one more to put up a 0 in the 9th. In the bottom of the 9th, if the Rangers are going to pull it off, Rougned Odor will be leading it off. Juan Centeno, Drew Robinson do. They're going to need some base runners. First pitch, Marisnick lifts it high in the air, pop up on the right side of the infield. A little argument over there, but Odor ends up taking it. Bottom of the 9th, Rangers come back, maybe in a moment. Download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, well, you can still stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app presented by T-Mobile. T-Mobile's all in on streaming baseball on whatever device you have. All right, Rougned Odor. Bottom of the 9th inning, Rangers trailing by 6. All 3 Rangers runs today scored by Elvis Andrus out of the leadoff spot. Andrus done a great job today. He's been on 3 of the 4 times he's come up. He's scored all 3 times. It's usually a pretty good recipe for success as an offense, but it just has not worked out today. Odor, meanwhile, 0 for 3, is struck out and grounded out a couple of times. Chopper right side, and that one handled by the shortstop Correa, and there's one away. Well, McHugh came in, got the final out of the 8th inning. Pitching on here in the 9th and adapting to this role out of the bullpen. He'll face Juan Centeno.
Some struggles for the bottom of the order here this afternoon from hitters 5 down, so HOU, Odor, Centeno, Robinson and Tochi up to this point 0 for 16 with 8 strikeouts.
Yep, and that's, you know, a scene we're a little too familiar with coming off last season, because that was the big problem last season with this offense. And it was what Jeff Bannister and John Daniels and company worked so hard to fix this offseason. They wanted to lengthen that lineup out a little bit. HOU was batting a little lower in the lineup, so was Odor. Trying to be a little tougher down there. Guys on base up ahead of the top of the order. It's amazing what the loss of one guy can do to the look of a lineup. And that Delano DeShields, that is a big loss for the time being. One-two to Centeno. Good breaking ball, but in the dirt. It's 2-2. McHugh's 2-2 pitch, and this one sent out to left center field, and a long run out there for Marisnick, but he gets there. I've seen this a handful of times where the ball coming off the bat, you're thinking, hey, that's got a pretty decent shot. And it just seems to hang forever.
Yeah, a couple of tough breaks for Juan Centeno today. Talked about that line drive he hit up the middle earlier with the ship. Looked like a base hit off the bat, but Carlos Correa standing there right there in the middle, and that ball was pretty well struck. Run down by Marisnick. So we had a couple of good at-bats. No hits to show for it. But he certainly has put the barrel on the baseball this afternoon.
Well, Drew Robinson now, and he's had a tough day. 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs, and he takes strike 1. Astros won the opener on Thursday afternoon, 4-1. Rangers came back yesterday to even the series with a victory 5-1. Now Houston trying to get back in front again here this afternoon. Tomorrow we'll wrap up this 4-game series. A 2:05 first pitch. The 0-2 very high. Very difficult to win a 4-game series. Rangers tomorrow looks like they will be pressed to try and split it, barring some miracle comeback here in the 9th inning. 2-2 the count.
What's great about the opening series for the season is you always get the really good pitching matchups, right? Essentially for this 4-game series, you get the 1 through 4 for both clubs matching up, and that'll make this one very intriguing. Garrett Cole, a nice pickup. It's Mike Minor.
Yeah, Pfister looked good yesterday for the Rangers. Fun to see him throw.
Agreed. Cole Hamels really just had kind of that one bad inning. I got away from him a little bit, but a lot of good things happening there. And I think you dig into Matt Moore's outing. Didn't go exactly the way he wanted, but there were certainly a lot of positive things that happened. 6 strikeouts to no walks in those 4 innings.
Well, Drew Robinson works a walk here in the 9th inning. Has always been one of his strengths as a hitter in the minor leagues. Very patient, long at bats, working the count, getting himself on. And now Carlos Tochi, another shot at getting that first big league hit. Just missed last inning. Tochi struck out on the 3rd, struck out again in the 5th inning. But then in the 8th, liner looked like it was headed to right field, but Marwin Gonzalez got back and made a real nice play. Took it away. Hughes 1-0. That's a strike. Tochi, the slender right-handed hitter from Venezuela. Slow roller, shortstop. That's going to be a tough play, and it is in time. Tochi just missed beating it out, and that chance for that first big league hit. That's one of the best of the game. Got it.
Take a quick look at it here. Carlos
Tochi gets jammed on this fastball that is up and in from Colin McHugh. He's got pretty good speed. Nice job by Carlos Correa on the run. Good exchange and a good throw. He's got a strong arm, and by a half a step, just barely gets Tochi.
Maybe tomorrow for the fellow. All right, here 9-3 our final score. Dana, Mac, and Pudge, they'll be back in a moment to talk about our pitching matchup today. Get all the player reaction and analysis as well. We'll be back to talk about Elvis Andrus' big day. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Our coverage of Rangers baseball continues in just a moment.